Alright, how about that timing, though? That was actually perfect. I just finished housing a bowl of cereal, so that extra little delay was good. It allowed me to eat breakfast. And we are right in game as well, so... Like I said, timing. Timing today. Maybe the delay was a good thing. But here we are. Welcome, welcome. Anti-Mage in the house. The Intermission. Today's tournament host. And yeah. We'll jump 5 minutes early because, you know, that's just how we do. Ali King, hello, hello. May the lady bless this stream. Yes, indeed. So, yeah. Animation's got the challenge link there. For those of you guys who want to take a look at the bracket, I will go ahead and quickly do an edit on my description to add that. And we'll go ahead and get that going. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you guys. Hopefully you're doing well. I've been hard at work behind the scenes this week. Haven't been streaming a lot, but I've been working basically all day, every day on channel stuff. So you guys are going to get an absolute deluge of content soon. And also I have some announcements. Screw it. I can just announce it right now. Yes, Dov has a Discord. That is correct, Sarmation. Yes, that is the first announcement, is that I have finally set up a Discord server. You can find a link in the description. If you are interested in joining, please do join. Of course, have a read of the rules, and just make sure you abide by them, obviously. But it's going to be a grand old time. The primary reason for me to do that is so that I can have a place to push notifications to people when I'm streaming. I'm planning on, this is second announcement, you ready? Look at that transition right there. I'm planning on streaming on Twitch, other games besides Total War Warhammer. Like, I'm going to be moving my Bannerlord playthroughs over there. I'm going to do an announcement video as well for this, but I'm going to be moving my Bannerlord playthroughs over there. We'll probably be doing some Civ 6 as well. For sure, I will be streaming Call of Duty Warzone on there. I've been playing that with IRL friends, and because it's cross-platform, I can play and stream and record on my boss PC setup when they're on their peasant consoles, so we can have a good time in that way. And yeah, the third announcement is for those of you guys who are patrons, who want to become patrons on Patreon, there's a special role and chat on Discord that is reserved for patrons. So yeah, anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at the builds. What we've got here for the Skavens is, we've got Tretch, Craventail, Death Runners out to the flanks, 2 flares? No, just 1 flare. 2 flares, yeah, plus a Doom Wheel. Let's see, we've got an Assassin here, plenty of Rat Ogres, lots of chaff, be expected. Do I see a caster for the Skaven? Oh yeah, we've got a Plague Priest here, summons Plague Breath. Good stuff. As for the Empire, Volkmar the Grim going to be leading the way. Great in this matchup. Nice wide line here. We've got plenty of Flagellants, Outriders with Grenade Launchers, some Empire Knights for blocking, Amethyst Wizard, and Death Jacks with regular archers. So lots of regular archers, a nice wide build with going a little bit of extra spend in this front line to go unbreakable. Interesting. See how it pays out. Volkmar the Grim is obviously just an absolute menace for the Skaven to deal with. This guy... Ah, man, like, there's just not really anything the Skaven have that are great at killing Volkmar quickly. So, he can be an absolute pain. Hey, what's up, Tamilton? Good to see you. Yeah, time to rumble indeed. Got these archers here with their silly hats. Whoop. Oh, yeah. Basically a looter. Man, look at that. Look at that quiver, though. That's quite colorful, I have to say. Mustache time. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So let's, yeah, I'm genuinely curious to see. The flares are a good pick here for sure. There's not a lot on this Empire roster that's going to be great at dealing with the flares. Like, even the Empire Knights in melee will struggle with them. So I do think probably Spirit Leech is going to be the best way for the Amethyst Wizard to try and deal with them. We'll see. I mean, obviously, There's a lot of kind of mass push here. The Doom Wheel plus the Doom Flayers plus the Rat Ogres. I don't know. This Empire army might end up getting run over a little bit here. Like, these Flagellants will definitely clean infantry, but the lack of anti-large AP could come back to haunt the Empire here. You definitely need to account for the Doom Wheels and the Flayers as units. I have forgotten they exist before and lost because of it. And yeah, this extra spend on unbreakable infantry, like I said, it's just going to probably get run over by these wheels. But we'll see. The Flayers, the Doom Wheel pushing forward now. Flayers also pushing forward. Empire Knights are probably going to come up and try and mass block on the charge here. But yeah, just going straight in on the Flagellants and on the Sigmar Sons there. It looks like the Empire Knights not going to charge yet, but Spirit Leech is going on the Doom Flayers now. Volkmar, I don't know if he actually has a charge order. He could actually charge the Doom Flayers, play bumper cars with them a little bit, but got a summon now as the Flagellants kind of get in. They're a little overextended, but they should do okay. Over here, these Flagellants are absolutely going to mop these Spearmen. Got Death Runners getting into these Spearmen, which is not great, or Skaven Slaves, rather. But nice Grenade Launchers getting around the flank here to turn and start blasting those Death Runners. That's great in the back line. Plenty of summons and disruption. Yeah, see, this is what I mean. This Archer line, he was going to have a hard time protecting this Archer line regardless. Over here, these Empire Knights also taking a lot of damage from these Rat Ogres. Meanwhile, the other Empire Knights are just charging out chaff. These Flagellants and these Empire Knights need to all collapse and get on those Rat Ogres. And yeah, this, like I said, this Empire build, not enough to protect these Archers. Empire Knights are doing their best, but thankfully the Archers aren't very expensive. Granted, they will be somewhat necessary to help deal with the Rat Ogres, but the Grenade Launcher is definitely kind of a power unit here, getting in, doing a ton of damage to those Death Runners, so that's pretty good stuff. But a lot of these backline units have been disrupted, and a little bit of a miss micro here. Volkmar the Grim needs to just be running mobile shop on all of these units. Over here, these Empire Knights were able to extricate themselves from the Rat Ogres. Rat Ogres did take a lot of damage in that engagement, but these Doom Flayers are still running free with basically nothing to touch them. Same thing with the Doom Wheel here. So things are not looking great. Looks like we're probably going to have a banishment here. This is honestly not the best banishment. This is going to hit 2 friendly units. You know, equivalent to about 1,300 value for 1 Clan Rat. That's a pretty bad banishment, actually, in terms of friendly damage. We'll see. Yeah, it's going to do a lot of damage to the Sigmar Sons, so a little bit of an unfortunate placement for Volkmar. I probably should have waited and maybe try to get, like, the Death Runners or just a high-value Skaven infantry, but we'll see. The Empire is certainly not out of this yet. Just a little bit behind on the balance of power at the moment. These Grenade Launchers definitely will be key in the late game, but here, this is bad. These Empire Knights getting cornered and caught by Rat Ogres and Death Runners. The Death Runners, no anti-large, of course, but that armor sundering will be absolutely brutal. 55 armor on those Empire Knights, and those Grenade Launchers could end up doing some serious friendly damage. Maybe. We'll see. Over here, Volkmar is doing his best, but again, he's getting dragged down by Tretch a little bit, staying in sustained combat for a little bit too long. And yeah, I don't see the Empire doing well. I know the balance power is still pretty even, but Amethyst Wizard's gone. This Doom Wheel is literally untouched. And yeah, Empire Knights here going away. Empire Knights over on the far side getting wrecked by Doom Flayers. We still have a handful of archers kind of scattered around the place, but I think the infantry archer focus is too much. Definitely think you just need to go all in on the Cav Rush and just run the Skaven over. But we'll see. Ben in a pretty commanding position here. We're kind of getting close as Volkmar makes his last stand with his troops. But Tretch has been, yeah, Volkmar has just been standing next to Tretch and like fighting him in melee for way too long. They ended up taking quite a bit of damage here. And I mean, Tretch is not a complete pushover, especially with the Assassin's Trophy from the Assassin, obviously. Tretch, yeah, I mean, he has decent stats with anti-large. Not the best AP in the world, but still 448 total weapon damage. And he's not the worst. He's definitely not the absolute worst. I might have said he's the worst in the past, but in this situation, he's not going to be terrible. Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, the mustaches were not enough to protect against the massive rat horde here. Lack of anti-large AP. I don't know if Park Map didn't account for Doom Wheels, or if he had planned to deal with them, you know, by certain means, but Certainly, it didn't appear that his build had good enough tools to deal with, especially 2 flares plus a Doom Wheel. That's a lot of armored spinning power. Oof. And I love Doom Wheels. They're so fun. Banishment here, pretty decent. Again, has the potential to do a lot of damage to friendly Empire troops, but at this point, it's basically just the Unbreakables, right? Yeah, just the Flagellants and Volkmar holding out. So, a valiant effort. Hello, hello. Welcome, Iris. Good to see you. Got Thomas, which I know you said is pronounced a certain way last time, but I honestly, my memory is so potato. But welcome, guys. Yeah, yeah. That Empire build, just a little too much to. I mean, and it's not even there's that much to protect. They're not that expensive each, but the archers, I mean, they're not bad in this matchup, certainly, but I think the front line, you definitely can go cheaper there and go wider on your cavalry component. In terms of anti-large AP, just something, you know, whether it be, I don't know, you can do a few different things, but, oh, did the game crash? I think the game crashed. Hey, that's great. All right, so let's take a look at the bracket here. And go ahead and pull it up. Get the game relaunched. And let's see what other matches we still have going from this first go. Looks like we're almost to the round 3 games, actually. So we've got Ben the Barman versus Crabling. We'll see if we can jump in and grab that one. That'll be pretty good. Looks like we've also got Namru versus Clancer, Pugnabon, Steve. Let's have a look at the list. Oh, Death Globes. Yeah, Death Globes are actually super strong if you know how to use them. But, okay. Let's grab Crabling versus Ben here. Yeah, yes, Iris, it is because their range. The range is definitely an issue for them. And for a few other units, both the globes, like, they can do devastating damage, but because the range is so short, like, they so often just get countershot by other things. They can get compromised by monsters super easy, chariots. Your lowish leadership front line very often get quickly terrified away, and then they're very vulnerable. So yeah, they're good, definitely. Just a little situational. Yeah, range makes it hard to protect them, for sure. Alright. Yeah, now we've got, what is this? Beastmen versus Dark Elves. Oh no, Ben the Barman's going Empire. Oh no. Okay, they're doing their pick and ban system. I should actually look. Let's review what the pick and ban system is. So we're using Warhammer Cup rules. And you have to have minimum melee infantry spend. Okay. And okay. The faction picking. So top player picks 3 factions, bottom player bans one of those 3 and picks his. Okay, so we come back in here. You can see that Traveling has banned Dark Elves and picked Dwarves. And Ben had Empire and Tomb Kings as his other 2. So that's actually a pretty good pick from Crabling, seeing that both Empire, Tomb Kings to a little bit of a lesser degree, but both of them to a degree are somewhat weak to Dwarves. Tomb Kings if you kind of go with wide target overload with lots of chariots, like double Scorpion, it doesn't work as well since they nerfed the Scorpion. Thank goodness, by the way. I freaking hate that thing. But, yeah, Warp Fire Throwers actually are kind of underrated in my opinion. They can be really, really good if you get them into the right position. Yeah, globes are hilarious for campaign siege defense or like choke point battles. There are definitely places in campaign, and especially for like a garrison army, or I think actually in a lot of the, like when you build the garrison buildings, it will actually give you the death globes. But anyway, I should really throw a screen blocker up. So let's get our Archaon versus Khalida image. Take it in all its glory. Yeah, that's pretty good, Iris. That's a lot of range to protect, but, I mean, it's a lot of range to do a lot of damage as well. The catapults are one that you don't see them crazy often in multiplayer, but I honestly think they're a little underrated. They're very, very strong, especially against low leadership factions. You can rout off a lot of their units before they even get to you. Yeah, like poor man's fire drakes, exactly, yep. Yep. Yeah, they're not as good as fire drakes, but they're good in certain situations. They have their uses. Yeah, much uglier and stinkier. But they can be used in a similar role. You know, actually, Skaven are somewhat vulnerable to mass vanguards from Beastmen, Greenskins, even Dwarfs, actually, kind of hilariously. So the Warp Fire Throwers, because mass vanguards are generally light troops, like you usually don't get a lot of heavy armor vanguard troops. If you are concerned about a mass vanguard, having some Warp Fire Throwers can help melt those lighter troops as they're trying to attack. They're also pretty good against the Greenskins as well. So yeah, Beastmen, Greenskins, I would say. It can be good against, I guess, Dwarf Vanguards, but that would be super risky. But yeah, those are the two matchups. I would say probably they're the most viable. But let's have a look here. Go ahead and... nope, not that. There we go. Have a look at some builds for the Dwarf Scrumbrindle. The White Dwarf going to be leading the way. We've got 2 cannons, Giant Slayer, Dragonpack Slayer, Dwarf Warriors, and Longbeards mixed, and 2 Thunderers with a Troll Hammer Torpedo. Tomb Kings got 2 Camarine War Sphinxes, some Skeleton Warriors, Skeleton Spears, Carrion, got a Necrotect. Yeah, Cetra the Imperishable on its chariot, excellent pick. Necrotect is also on a chariot, 2 Necrotect chariots, that is. And the Camarine War Sphinxes are an interesting choice. This is kind of like what I was talking about, wide target overload, but instead of bringing the Scorpions, he goes with the War Sphinxes. Obviously a lot more expensive, but with the, if you brought the 2 Scorpions, you could then maybe bring, what, like 2 additional Ushabti, the melee Ushabti, which might be okay, but there certainly is an argument to be made for just bringing the War Sphinxes. They're quite strong. Anti-infantry, great armor-piercing damage. Even with the melee attack bonus of their anti-infantry, I mean, they're only, what, 49, which I guess is pretty good, but against the Dwarves, who have generally high melee defense, I mean, 49 is going to be comparable to some of their lower-tier infantry, right? I guess Longbeards are 48, yeah, so it's still going to be only 36% chance to hit. Without the charge bonus, that is, and those kitties do have a pretty good charge bonus, 64. Not bad at all. Ratlings, not necessarily. Ratlings, actually, they don't do quite as much raw DPS to light targets, especially up close. Like the Warp Fire Throwers just do a lot of damage to light targets, and the leadership effect as well is what you're really looking for there against lower leadership factions. That's why against, like, if you think someone's going to come in with a heavier Vanguard League, even an Empire, I would say, or Trying to think of who else could kind of do like a heavy vanguard. I'm not sure, but yeah, like there are definitely some situations where the Rattling Gunners would be better, but it's more so the leadership component that's the great thing about the Warp Fire Throwers. In addition to the shock damage, those two factors combined means you can route units very easily with them, right? So yeah, the Rattling guns, they're pretty good for shooting certain things, like especially larger targets where they can connect, like larger hitboxes where they can connect all of their shots, or as many of their shots as they can. But yeah, that like shielded infantry, and especially out towards their max range. Like once you get within about half range of the Rattling guns, then they start to the damage really picks up. Once you're like to the second half of the range, though, like outside of that, I mean, they'll still do damage and they'll still apply the slow effect, but it's not nearly as consistent. Yeah, they're better chaff cleaners, exactly. Yep. And the other component too is that the Warp Fire Throwers actually deal magic damage. So specifically, if you're up against a lot of units with physical resistance, again, I mentioned Greenskins because like Savage Orcs, yeah, some other matchups as well, potentially Wood Elves, you could use them, although they're pretty vulnerable to getting counter shot there. Yeah, just the magic damage and the leadership kind of provides a little bit of different utility. But as it is right now, Traveling's kind of spreading his cannon target around a little bit, which is probably not the worst thing, but actually going after the Necrotechs is smart, getting rid of the healers first. Cetra has taken a little bit of damage, but Ben's just kind of slowly making his way forward here. Necrotechs honestly probably should have tried to stay back a little bit further, but as it is right now, might get completely blasted by those cannons. But here comes the push. The War Sphinx is inbound. We've also got Cetra inbound, getting ready to try and run shop in this back line. Cetra can get back and disrupt these missile units. There honestly aren't that many missile units here, and the Carrion can come in and kind of disrupt potentially two at once here. War Sphinx, this one's gotten in with basically no damage being done, and Necrotechs are quite sad about their life decisions, but at the same time, they're probably quite a bit cheaper than the Necro Sphinxes, even though they're kind of meant to heal them. Oh man, this is bad though. Those Giant Slayers just come in and absolutely wipe those Carrions super quick. And the Dwarf, this is one of the reasons why I say Dwarfs kind of have an advantage here, because your infantry just cost for cost is so much better than the Tomb Kings. And of course, the armor-piercing guns provide you that cushion against these big, bad monsters. And this Kemerian War Sphinx is about to feel the meaning of pain as the Trollhammer torpedoes open up. Dragonback Slayer's also running in. And yeah, this War Sphinx is going to get absolutely melted here. Cetra also rolls through, absolutely blows up a chariot. He's going to blind those Dragonback Slayers. Try and keep pulling around, pushing around, and kind of ping-ponging between different engagements, which is just great. But yeah, you can see the balance power already starting to turn as one Necrotech is down. Yeah, no, not quite. He's still alive. All these monsters have gotten into the backline and started to disrupt, but the Giant Slayers are going to be a huge problem here. And, I mean, the Skeletons are just wet noodling these Dwarf Warriors and Longbeards in the front line, so really the Skeletons aren't going to do much here besides just die. And even, they'll die at a reasonably slow rate, but even then, like, it's just going to be so much for these War Sphinxes and the Chariots to do. Yeah, maybe going even with the Scorpions just so you could bring the Chariots for the Tomb Kings. The Chariot units, because they have so many unit models, can actually, like, really disrupt very well. But yeah, the Shabti summon going to be called in here. Immediately starts almost crumbling from Grombrindle there. They are going to get Incantation of Cursed Blades, and they do a ton of damage to those Trollhammer torpedoes. They're able to kind of push them off of that pocket right there. Necrotech's still alive. They might be able to get some restores in here. Looks like we do have a restore there on that War Sphinx. This one not getting the restore, but still charging around, making sure to finish off that cannon crew there. The Wet Noodle contest continues in the front line. Eventually the Dwarfs will win that engagement out, but this is nice positioning here by the Trollhammers, able to get free and start to fire in some of these various units. But let's see if this Necrotech can disrupt them. Oop, or will they just wreck him? Or Grombrindle might wreck him. Gets a hit there. And yeah, that Necrotech, one more hit and he is gone. Bromby comes in, steel chair. Oop, nope, gets knocked away by the War Sphinx. And, yeah. It's actually looking still pretty close. I mean, the Tomb Kings have managed to keep this balance of power from going completely haywire here, but these Necrotechs are not long for this world. Cetra, of course, still being so healthy is definitely a problem for the Dwarfs, but at the same time, they've still got a lot of their missile tools they can get back online. The push to disrupt the Iron Drakes here did not work, and very nicely, Grombrindle has no fear. Well-timed to keep this cannon crew fighting here, keep all these units fighting in the front line that had potentially low leadership. And yeah, look at that. Just a few Troll Hammers. We've seen this time and again. Just a handful of Troll Hammer torpedoes absolutely wrecking some units. And the kitty gets a charge, but the kitty crumbling. You can see the Giant Slayers zoning beautifully here. Troll Hammer torpedoes in a position to keep shooting. I thought that kitty would crumble away, but it looks like it actually still has a decent amount of HP left. The cannon's back online over there. And the Dwarf Warriors and Longbeards again in the front line, just basically taking as little damage as possible. And I don't think... Yeah, I think this is probably it for the Tomb Kings. Once these War Sphinxes go down, this one's just about to be gone, which it did pick up an XP Chevron. This one did not, so kind of a little bit of a mixed bag there, but... Oh, looks like we got a smoke bomb. Flash bomb from Grombrindle on Cetra, lowering his melee defense and speed. These Giant Slayers just absolutely manually dismantling the cart here. He's going to go ahead and blast him back, do a little bit of damage there, but oh yeah, look at Gromby coming in, getting a couple hits, sending Cetra packing. It's like his physical resistance, trying to keep this last Kemerian War Sphinx online, which honestly, it has been able to finish off the last of these Troll Hammers, finish off these Thunderers just about. I say finish off the last of the Troll Hammers. There are still about 5 of them left. There's also about 19 Thunderers here, so yeah, no, it's just the only thing left for Ben the Barman is single entities, and it is going to be not enough. Does the Roomba outrange cannons? I'm not sure, but I mean, the cannons can probably come forward, and I don't think the Roomba can actually like beat cannons before they can get in range and probably blast you. I don't know. I'd have to do some testing there, but potentially if the Roomba does outrange cannons, then that might be a decent pick here. But great job by Crabling playing that missile defense very well. Slayers did quite a bit of damage in the front line. Look at all the kills on the Longbeards, too, just mopping zombies. Or, it might as well be zombies. These skeletons. I mean, look at that. 1, 1, 7, 5, 3. Yeah, skeleton infantry are just so bad against the Dwarves. 102 kills for Cetra himself, and that's where the power needs to come from. 83 kills, 43 and a chevrons for the War Sphinxes. I honestly think you just need to spread your offensive power around a little bit more. Like, again, I would probably have cut these 2 War Sphinxes for Scorpions, and then brought like 2 to 3 extra units, either Ushabti or even Chariots. The Tomb King Chariots units are okay. They can get blasted pretty hard by cannons in this matchup, but yeah. Good. Yeah, that's the issue. The accuracy at that distance, I don't think you could beat the cannon. Anyway, let's go ahead and have a look here. We'll go ahead back to the bracket. See matches there are left. I think we should probably be just about done with the group phase. Check here. Okay. Get a little music playing. Yeah, Mr. Marlockey versus Battleborn, potentially. Tank versus Lycan Lupin. Let's look. See if any of these are available. Oop. Let's see. Let me just ping these guys over here. Oh, here we go. Alright, we are in with Tank and Lycanlupin. Cool, cool. Go ahead and throw that screen blocker back up. Oh, yeah. Yeah, same range, both 440. That's what I thought. I wanted to say they were pretty close to the same. Oh yeah, it actually outranges. Okay, okay. Yeah, and the cannon's a lot more accurate towards the edge of its range as well than the Roomba. Like, if you're considering an artillery duel, really not cost effective. Although, if you did have like the Roomba plus 2 Bone Giants actually are probably accurate enough to take out cannons. I don't know how consistent it is. You might have to get kind of close, in which case that kind of negates the point, but maybe that would work. I don't know. Generally, trying to outshoot the Dwarfs is not a good idea for anyone. Unless you really, really go skew heavily into it. They don't skew enough into it, but the Dwarfs are the best shooting faction in the game. They have the best, most powerful range tools by far. So nice, just jumping straight into another game here. That's what I like to see. Oops, that was kind of ham-fisted. Oh well. Alright, let's have a look at what we've got in terms of builds here. Looks like we've got Kolek, Sun Eater leading the way, Chaos, Metal Sorcerer, Marauders. Yeah, Marauders, bunch of Marauders. Got some warriors with halberds. Power swords, not power swords. Lances, interesting. Personally, I'm a lot bigger fan of the power swords right now, but Horse Masters, Horsemen, Poison Warhounds, Hell Cannon, nice. The Soul of Damnation, even. The Regiment of Renown Hell Cannon. Not every day you see this thing. It is a pretty wild pick. So, let's have a look at what else. Got some Hargoneth's Executioners. Sisters of Slaughter for the Dark Elves, going to be led by Malice Darkblade in the front line. We've got Death Sorceress, Red Spears, a couple of Blackguard, and some Shades. A distinct lack of mobility in this Dark Elf build. There is a very distinct lack of mobility, and that is going to come back to haunt them, as this Chaos Force is very, very mobile. We've got all these horsemen. Are these Horse Masters? Yeah, 1 Horse Master, 2 horsemen. They're all going to be obviously very mobile. Kolek's very mobile here. We've got these Poison Warhounds. Sorry, my cat is distracting me. Or am I distracting my cat? It's hard to say. Nope, okay. Alright. Hell Cannons are actually a good counter against Scourge Runner Chariots. I don't know about that. I'd have to do some testing, but maybe. I mean, maybe the tracking shots are accurate enough to actually hit the Chariot models. And if they hit the Chariot models, I'd imagine they do a lot of damage to them. But nice thing about this map is, I mean, it's not quite a full backside slope protection. If the Dark Elves had brought a Bolt Thrower, they could definitely challenge this Hell Cannon with the Bolt Throwers very cost effectively. But since they don't have that, they don't have any kind of mobility, the Hell Cannon's actually going to prove to be a pretty good pick here. It can just kind of work on these high value infantry all day. But Just a second. Okay. And yeah, it's just going to be a little bit of a kind of pick-apart game if Tank plays his cards right, which he probably will. Can kind of just pick apart these Dark Elf forces as they advance, and because of the lack of mobility, he can pretty much dictate the pace of the battle. And this is very much, you know, playing with initiative, with artillery, not playing too passively. I mean, granted, these horsemen and these horse masters even came in, took a ton of damage from those shades on that initial approach there. So it's definitely not all bad for the Dark Elves, just mostly bad as Kolek comes forward. It takes a few crossbows to the face for his efforts, but does get some good damage on those Hargonath Executioners. Meanwhile, out to the far side, we got these shades kind of getting swarmed here. Again, horsemen and warhounds coming in, getting on the shades. Shades are decent in melee. You can see they're actually probably going to beat the horse masters there with the support of the dread spears, but this is disrupting the advance pretty badly of the Dark Elf forces here, leading to a lot of their infantry just continuing to take fire from the Hell Cannon. This is not the best. These Hargonath Executioners, they're still going to do a lot of damage to these Chaos Warriors with halberds. They'll take some damage in return, but because of the low attack of the Chaos Warriors with halberds, I don't know if they'll even be able to win this engagement. They might still lose, even with all of the damage that those Hargonath Executioners have taken. So, yeah, frontline engagement, Marauders, obviously, we would expect to get cleaned. Over here, it's a little bit of a different situation. Sisters of Slaughter on the Marauders having taken some damage. And, yeah, the Chaos Knights with Lances getting caught up by the Red Spears. Not the best, but things are looking pretty good for Chaos already. In the back, Disruption is still going on. The Horsemasters, Horsemen, Hounds able to kind of swarm in, finish off a lot of these shades, or at the very least keep them occupied. And not to mention there's a Blackguard back there that's continuously getting shelled. The Metal Sorcerer is proving that he is by far the superior caster, as he just absolutely bullies this poor Sorceress. Like we're also going to have, what, Final Transmutation up on top? Yep. Nice Final Transmutation there on the blob. Although it doesn't do the best damage scaling against infantry, it still will do a lot of damage. And obviously to Malice himself. Malice not in the palace, doing his fancy little spin moves and stuff. Oof. A Hell Cannon shot. I love that point-blank arc of fire. And the halberds did end up losing, as I said they probably would, but the lances now, if they can get free, maybe get a charge into these Sisters of Slaughter. Sisters of Slaughter are a very thin unit in terms of armor, and oh, yeah, they go in for a ride. That charge is going to do a lot of shock damage right there. Kolek and the Knights now pulling away. Again, utilizing that mobility and the artillery kind of in combination. The artillery still has a little bit of ammo left. Might end up getting compromised at this point. But even still, I mean, Kolek is basically untouched, right? Granted, we do still have the Tsarkan summoned, but I don't think Tsarkan on foot can really mess with Kolek. I think that'll probably be relatively one-sided. But mobile units also continuing to push through there, getting on the Shades, so that's pretty good stuff. And yeah, nice bombardment coming in here from Kolek. Will do a lot of damage to those Hargonath Executioners. The Blackguard's still relatively healthy. I'd say relatively. I mean, they've got, what, less than half their unit models left, so they're really not feeling too hot. Malice is doing okay, though. He's definitely tanking through quite a bit of damage. I mean, I say this is, looking good for Chaos, but, I mean, I guess if the supporting units can't really provide enough support and they end up getting dragged down just kind of by attrition. I mean, Dark Elves usually don't play that attrition game super well, but we've got some Marauders coming back from route over here, some halberds and such coming back. These Chaos Knights with Lances will be needed to help clean up a lot of these units in the late game, and a really nice charge here, getting these unbraced light units here, these Dread Spears especially going to take a lot of damage from that charge. Granted, the Chaos Knights will take some damage in return. Standard die being popped on them, putting them up to 59 melee defense, so they can kind of hold out in this engagement a little bit longer. The Terror comes in. Blackguard, very critically, though, are not weak to Terror. They are immune to Psychology, so they will still hold. And the other remaining elite infantry also coming in, so the Knights probably need to pull back out and get one more kind of timing push. Nice charge, but yeah, right now they're getting absolutely wrecked. I believe, is that Malice? I'm not really sure. Yeah, Demon's Curse debuffing their melee defense, leading them to get absolutely just demolished by the few remaining infantry that were there. Those Chaos Knights do manage to pull away, but, I mean, they don't have the greatest melee defense in the world to begin with. So, gonna have to try and stay mobile, keep Kolek moving as well. Try and keep chasing these, routing units, kind of weak peripheral units, and just like this, again, using the Chaos Knights. Kolek will be the anvil, Knights will be the hammer, or maybe Kolek will just be the hammer and the anvil. Oof. Man, how would you like to be that one guy in particular? Excuse me. Yeah, the armor and health rating is low. Their melee defense is really good, the Sisters of Slaughter, but you can see the Chaos Marauders, other units, just kind of being thrown around here to keep bogging down this big infantry pocket, while Kolek makes sure to completely finish off these Dread Spears. And the Elves' leadership definitely working in their favor at this point. Oh, this is going to be a beautiful bombardment. If it hits, oh man, full contact. Does a lot of damage to those elfy boys, and there still is quite this little pack of elite elf infantry here. There's some non-elite infantry as well, but Malice can continue to regenerate HP while he's in melee. But here comes Kolek. And will that be it? Oop, yep, Kolek shatters a whole bunch of units there, but at the same time, the balance power is pretty much back towards even as the Sarkhan summon has been popped. The Chaos Marauders can continue fighting here to keep fulfilling the attacking rule. And he also still has ammunition on the Javelins for the Marauder Horsemen here. So, despite the fact that the Sarkhan summon has been used, yeah, Tank's got this in the bag. He's got all the tools he needs to continue to kite, within the rules, continue to kite Malice and Sarkhan. And, yeah. He can do it, as they say. Yeah, that's the problem exactly, Aerocrastic. The Chaos Knights with lances are the only elite shock cavalry without healing. Like Dragon Princes have healing, Grail Knights have healing, Blood Knights have healing. So really, they're kind of the only unit in their class that doesn't have access to healing. They do have the highest HP pool, but their melee defense is honestly not amazing. Yeah, Chaos Knights with lances have always been a little bit of a weird unit, in my opinion, just because of Chaos's design. But they're decent. Oof! Sarkhan's going for a ride. Hey, what's up? It's just a regular standard format tourney. Yeah, that's what you get for taking Malice on foot, right? I know, right? Oh man, Kolek's taking quite a bit of damage here, though. Look at that. He came in for a little timing push there, and just took a ton of damage. But here come the Knights with lances. Here come the Marauder Horsemen. Last of the infantry. The Chaos Warriors with halberds got finished off there. But these Marauder Horsemen can keep fulfilling the attacking rule, keep throwing their jabs until they're out of ammo. And Malice is just about out of HP on Sarkhan. Keep in mind the regeneration is, or the degeneration I should say, is highly randomized. So, oh man, here comes the final rear charge. Beautifully done by the Chaos Knights, taking advantage of their massive charge bonus. Kolek then pulls away, and yeah, those Blackguards absolutely get shattered by that, and that's it. Malice is done for. Credit to the Dark Elf player here. They did their best in trying to hold things together into the late game. Yeah, the slow speed is another thing. They're only 66 speeds, one of the slowest heavy cavalry. Yeah, the other thing too with the lances is, like, if you want something that's good against cavalry, for not that much more you can get regular dragon ogres, which are just better in a lot of ways. But yeah, personally, because the power swords have so good a melee defense right now, I think in most situations you're probably better off to go with the power swords. But the lances definitely are pretty good in certain situations, and we saw them there in the late game helping to clean a whole bunch of weak, kind of tattered units, utilizing that massive shock damage, and it's good. It's definitely good stuff. Alright. Alright. GG, indeed. Let's go ahead. I'm going to double check the bracket. It does look like we are now set on the proper bracket. So if we go ahead and have a look here, then you can see everyone in the group stage who moved on is now ready to fight it out. So let's jump in with maybe Ben the Barman versus Nyathar, or we could do Namru versus Tank. Let's kind of see lobbies as they pop up. And let's see here. While I'm doing this, I might also activate the cat cam, or at least the face cam. Let's see, how bad is it? Oh, it's not too bad. Just my hair's bad. Good old quarantine hair. Adjust this real quick. Yes. Can move this. I don't know if I can get this out of the shot. It's probably a little bit too high. That's fine. No big deal. No big deal. Yes. So as we're now waiting on this, let's have a look here. Tank versus Namru. We could do Felkoff versus Pugnoban, but let's go Tank versus Namru. Tell the peasants to walk it off. Yeah, they'll be fine. They'll be fine. Unshaved? Travesty? This is just like a day or two. I'll be honest, I don't shave every day because I get horrible razor burn. Yeah, this is my default look, pretty much. Just my hair is out of control. It's been way too long since I've been able to get a haircut, so... yeah. That is the way things are. I'm just petting my cat here. If I could show you guys how haggard this is. Oop. See, there's a cat here. Can confirm there is a cat here. Thank you, quarantine. Oh yeah. Yeah. Definitely a time to be had. Pretty excited for what's coming up. Got some scripts done on some videos, and I've been working on my next like how to read stats series video. It actually ended up being a little bit more complex. I think I might have to break it up into more videos even, but we'll see. The advantage of being bald. Yeah, there are certain advantages, definitely. Alright. Start up some more music here on the side. Whoops. That's fine. That was only mostly ham-fisted. There we go. That's the big brain play. Just shave your head right before the quarantine so that no one will see when you shave your head, and then you can shave your head and you can see it and see how weird you look, and no one else has to see it, right? And then by the time you emerge, you'll have some hair. And that's actually, that's honestly, probably that's the big brain play. If you wanna shave your head, I'm gonna say that's the way to do it. I used to have very long hair before I did my first face reveal. For quite a while, I actually had very, very long hair. If I can find a picture, I'll post one on Twitter. But, yep. Real proud baldness would require some wax. Yeah, you gotta get that shine, right? You gotta get that, like, fresh surfboard shine. Use the machine. There we go. Set it to 0. Yeah, the clippers make it easy for sure. Alright. Have a look at this over here. Second. Let it grow for the metal gods, right? Yeah, the head stubble is definitely a pretty good look. Alright, who are we waiting on here? Namru? Get in here, Namru. There we go. There's the lad. Just a second. Oh, I forgot you guys can see me. Can see me coughing. Yep. Yeah, my cat's definitely been enjoying quarantine, having me here all the time. New laptop for Total War Warhammer 3. Well, he's probably still got some time. Originally, they had said they were going to aim for a 2020 release, but I don't see that happening at this point. Maybe early 2021, like quarter 1, quarter 2, 2021. So you got some time. Army Blocker, thank you for reminding me. There we go. Yeah, that's... Oh, man. I've been in that phase, Tehana. When I get in that phase, nowadays, I just wear a hat for, like, 3 months. Like, 3 or 4 months, just wear a hat. And then once you get past that phase, then it's great. My hair is very thick. Make a rope out of this right here. Yeah, fair. It's a good point. So these rounds are best of 1. Okay, so all best of 1 until the final, which is a best of 3. So, cool. Got quite a few good players still in the running. Guys getting their picks and bans. Considering the choices, thinking carefully about things. One thing you could do, this is what I would probably do, because I'm evil. If I was picking first, because you pick 3 factions, right? Your opponent bans 1. Then you take one of the other 2. I would pick the 3 undead factions, because they all kind of counter different factions in a way. So regardless of which one they pick and then try and counterpick into you, like you know, if they ban Coast, then and try and pick into, you know, Tomb Kings or Vampire Counts, like any faction that would be, you know, I actually don't think there are that many factions that are great against Counts, right? But an interesting one. I don't know. Like, I definitely would go the 3 undead, and then kind of regardless of whichever one they ban, you know, you still got 2 very strong options, right? So Right? Right, Will? Oh man, I really hope it's soon. I really hope it's soon. I need some more Warhammer stuff. I mean, don't get me wrong, this game is basically endlessly replayable, but when you get more new stuff, it's just more better, right? Ban Tomb Kings and pick Wood Elves? I mean, do Wood Elves beat Vampire Counts, though? They have a decent matchup against Counts. I would still, see, for me personally, and this is just for my own playstyle, I would still be comfortable picking Counts into Wood Elves, but then again, if you take, like, 4 Black Knights with Sword and Shield, like, 2 Blood Knights, go with basically you go Bone Tonia, is the way I call it. Wood Elves can kind of run into the same problem almost against Vampire Counts that you do against Bretonnia. It's the massive heavy cavalry, and I mean it's like Bretonnia, but you know the knights can heal models, right? So yeah, personally I feel pretty comfortable in that matchup, but I know other people maybe not so much. Coast is definitely a weirder one for sure. Coast I wouldn't probably pick into the Wood Elves. Maybe though, you could do some things, but it's not like a great matchup. But I like in that situation I would probably go with the Counts. Yeah, Durthu Blob is the main thing you have to worry about for sure. Yeah, the Durthu is tough for the Vampire Counts to kill. Yeah, it's a cheese fest 24/7. That's, to be honest, that's most of the time when you're playing Vampire Counts, but you kind of just have to come to expect it if you're going to play them in tournaments. The Durthu Blob, at least for my own, I know, like, the air cheese can work okay sometimes, but you can also get outclassed pretty heavily by the Vampire Counts in the air. But the Durthu Healing Blob is what I've found to be the most effective against Vampire Counts. They just, I don't know. They just, they don't do too great, to be honest. But anyway. Anyway, these guys are picking. I actually think I might go grab a drink of water real quick, so. Most balanced is Wood Elf build is Durthu Blob with strong flyers. Yeah, if you went, I'd have to put together a build, but if you went like Durthu with Dryad, a Branch Wraith, and then maybe 2 Hawk Riders, another Tree Men, Eternal Guards. Yeah, Durthu could summon Manticores too, obviously, to help you in the air. And depending on the cost, I'd have to look at it. You could maybe even bring like an eagle or something. An illegal eagle. Oh, we've got Counts versus Dark Elves. Be interesting. Probably going to be some counter-kiting. Go hydrate! Yes, I'll be back. Give me 1 second. Maybe. There we go. Okay. Yeah, Miss, you do make a good point. I mean, if somebody presented me with the 3 undead factions, that's probably what I would do, is ban Vampire Counts and pick Empire, because they do have a decent matchup against both Tomb Kings and Vampire Coast. At least I feel comfortable in both of those matchups, but not a lot of people play the Empire, seems like. Yeah, Hawk Riders are very good against the Beastmen for sure. The Harpies, you kind of have to worry about, but at the same time, like, they're not that strong. Yeah, Beastmen versus Wood Elves. You just gotta rush. You just gotta... Beastmen just have to take out the ground forces as quickly as possible, basically. Durthu, obviously, is a menace in that matchup. Yeah, I think Harpies is the main thing you have to worry about with Hawk Riders. Summon Manticores as well can be potentially dangerous. But let's go ahead and pop the screen blocker back. Yeah. Yeah, they're not exactly favored per se, but they have good. They have, like, especially if you're comfortable with the Empire, you know kind of what you're doing. Yeah, they're pretty good. Alright, alright. Let's have a look at some builds here for the Vampire Counts. We're coming in with the Blood Dragon. Up in the air, we've got a regular Corpse Cart, no Unholy Lodestone, 2 White Kings on foot. Interesting. Skeleton Warriors. We've got some Fell Bats. Chill Guys for Counter Kite. We've also got 1 unit of Blood Knights here. Graveguard with great weapons, plenty of chaff. Interesting. As for the Dark Elves, definitely going for a kiting build, it looks like. We've got Bleak Swords, lots of Dark Riders with Peter Crossbows, 2 dragons in the air, along with Marathi. That's potentially risky. Good thing we didn't see a Von Karstein Lord here. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Yeah. Yeah, here's the thing, though. I don't know if this even beats the Vampire Counts air spam. I don't think it would. 2 Black Dragons and Marathi. Like, I think you'd probably lose still. But we'll see how this does. The Blood Dragon's definitely going to be in for a nasty little surprise. Although the Chill Guys can debuff the speed of these dragons and Marathi and keep them from actually catching the Blood Dragons, so that's interesting. Probably, right off the bat, I would just say that these Blood Knights being isolated over here means that if Marathi and these 2 Black Dragons come back and just absolutely step on these Blood Knights, they could take them out very quickly, but it looks like Marathi's just going straight in. Milkos Mystifying Miasma on the Chill Guys there. She's going to have to be careful. The Blood Dragon comes straight after her. She gets a little bit of a counterpunch right there, but all the buffs, debuffs being popped now. Marathi's going to go ahead and throw a Soul Stealer in there, but she's already taken a lot of damage, just a couple of chunks out of her HP, and she's just about done. Marathi is going to get a little bit of healing there. That Helm of Discord debuffing her stats significantly, but likewise her own debuffs are going to be active against the Blood Dragon, and this is going to be a very pitched engagement right away in the air, with the 2 dragons now coming in and the Blood Dragon forced away. Marathi took a ton of free damage there, though, and now the Chill Guys, this is bad. The Chill Guys were able to sweep up and around, and now are starting to get at these Skirmish Cav, these expensive Skirmish Cav, which are going to very easily be caught by the Chill Guys with their chilling aura. You can see also the Black Dragons getting distracted somewhat, but oh man, This is potentially bad. Air-to-air breath from the Blood Dragon, but he is now getting absolutely pounded by double dragons. He doesn't have any ground targets to go after nearby, so the best thing he can do is just try and finish off Morathi, and he does just about finish off Morathi. He actually terrifies her away there. A couple of massive hits. The second hit, unfortunately, did not connect, and Morathi is going to be able to squeak away there. She might get chased off by the bats, but should recover her leadership very shortly. But look at that Blood Dragon just getting absolutely pounded there. Meanwhile, the Chill Guys are starting to catch and kill the Dark Riders. The Lance Dark Riders, the Spear Dark Riders rather, did come in and actually stop them up, which is pretty nice. But yeah, actually Namru going full into the air is going to be very effective. The Melkoth's Mystifying Miasma being used to debuff the speed of the Blood Dragon. He's going to pop that Dance Macabre to try and counter that effect just to stay out in front. But yeah, you can see now the Dark Elf Infantry is starting to get mopped. They'll lose very, very quickly, as you would expect. But this is great. The great use of the Dark Riders here to pin these Chill Guys and keep them disrupted, and then use the bows to actually do quite a bit of damage to them. You know, who needs magic damage to take down Ethereals when you just have good AP, good damage in general, crossbows? But now the Blood Knights are coming. This is bad news. Blood Knights and the Chill Guys have got into range to debuff the speed somewhat of those Dark Riders, just for a moment, even as they get caught by those Dark Riders, or sorry, the Blood Knights. They'll be able to get cleaned out very quickly. The Blood Dragon, though, has been able to squeak away, and now Namru, oh man, look at that nasty Soul Stealer. That is just a disgusting Soul Stealer in terms of that blob. It's going to do a lot of damage there. I don't know if it'll actually kill that many unit models, but Breath Attack was a little bit of a mistargeting, but this, oh man, this right here, Namru, right here. This Graveguard with Grey Opens, breath him. Come on, with that other dragon, come on. I don't think he's going to do it, but he could absolutely. Oh, here it comes. This is what I'm talking about. Oh, yeah. Oh, and the Scab Scrath goes off right at the same time. That breath, though, was absolutely nasty. Just did so much damage there. Up to 101 kills with that one breath on that Black Dragon there. But now they do have to be a little bit careful when they come down to the ground. You can see these cavalry quickly returning over to this fight. So as the dragons and Morathi now come down, then soon these elite cavalry will be in a position to start dealing damage to the dragons. What they need to do, finish this game off. And Morathi once again takes a ton of damage, but here come the two dragons. Helm of Discord being popped, a heart piercing. Morathi's going to try and pull away. She does just barely get back up into the air before being caught by those Chill Guys. Excellent play there. The Wand of Caradron is going to come in and do a nice bombardment right as they blob up. That's perfect timing. Oh, except it might actually hit the dragon instead. It doesn't look like it did too much damage to the Chill Guys there. But currently, these two Black Dragons are... Oh, yeah, look at the damage on that guy. He's starting to take a lot of damage as the Blood Knights kind of rush in. All of these other ground cavalry forces rush in. And suddenly, Namru's Black Dragons are in a little bit of a tough spot here. If Morathi has another Soul Stealer, now would absolutely be the time to get this disgusting blob here. Oh, and we got a sync animation between the Blood Dragon Vampire and the Black Dragon here. Might get some more cool sync kills or sync animations there between those two dragons. But yeah, the Black Dragon definitely getting absolutely worked on at this point. Morathi drops down for the final assassination, trying to finish off the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord here. It doesn't look like she's able to make consistent contact, though. Same thing with this other Black Dragon, not really making contact. Morathi also takes a hit there, and very quickly that is going to lead to critical army losses. Another very fancy kind of big swinging animation there. Morathi unfortunately gets terrified away. I don't think that yeah, I think that Morathi getting terrified is absolutely going to be the end for the Dark Elves. I don't think she can extricate herself, so initially very good play by Namru. Ended up that Tank did what he needed to, stabilized with his Lord, kept that Blood Dragon alive, and then was able to find some ground forces to fight on and get that cavalry support that he needed. So really good game, nice back and forth. The secondary Black Dragon still holding out, but I mean the Blood Dragon, yeah, he just needs to pull up around and keep cycle charging. Yeah, he landed, yeah. Yeah, the probably could have tried to stay in the air there, but yeah, I mean the cavalry were kind of far away, and I could see them making their way back over, especially the Chill Guys because they're so fast. I could kind of see them coming back over, and I thought, oh, that's a risky land, especially for Morathi, but if he could have got back up in the air quickly, it might not have been so bad. But yeah, just needed to take advantage of the rest of the breath attacks. Yeah, it's vampire counts. Yes, yes. Best of one. So we will back out and go have a look at the bracket here. Yeah, I believe probably all of the other games have started. Yes. So we will wait. Sorry, just got to respond to a text real quick. Bear with me. Okay, all good there. And we've got Crab versus Tank. Nice. What is that, VM Clan War? Oh, come on. Stop resetting my list. Here we go. Whoops. No, game in progress. No, they just started. Oh, well, it's all good. They just practicing, maybe? Yeah, it looks like they're just practicing. Oh, here we go. Maybe we can jump into this game. No. Second. Let's see. Oh no. That's too bad, Borg Cube. Sorry to hear it. Too bad. RTX 2080. Yeah, I honestly, I have a pretty good graphics card still. I have a Founders Edition 1070, but I am thinking things continue to be okay or go well. Like, I might try and get a new graphics card maybe later in the summer. Yeah. Yeah, my 1070 is good. It's just getting a little old at this point. I mean, I got it a long time ago, like 3 or 4 years ago now. When did the 1070 come out? I don't even remember. Anyway. Kind of just waiting on some games right now. So if we have a look at the bracket here, I guess I could just start up some music here. There we go. If we're having a look at the bracket now, we can see Battleborn should be now getting his game against Crabling ready, so we can watch for that. Like they're actually just in a practice battle, so we'll be around there shortly. Hey, what's up, Zardar? Yeah, I rebuilt my rig last year. I just kept my old graphics card, though, because I didn't feel the need to upgrade it. But I'm thinking probably that'll be a purchase I try and do this year. My CPU and my motherboard are very good. I do need to get a bit more RAM, and probably like one or two more drives. But yeah, I'd actually look at that today. All right, we got Falcon versus Pugnabon. Yes. Unless they just finished. Oh, looks like they did. Oh, and I joined a lobby that's probably closing, so it might bug my game out. You can see here, Pugnabon just advanced, so. Alright, let's see if we can grab that Crabling. Oh no, they're still practicing, okay. Okay, just a little bit of downtime here as we get this sorted. Okay, good there. Yes, definitely. And yeah, it's definitely not a priority for me right now. Granted, I'm doing okay. I'm definitely doing fine, but yeah, it is definitely hard to justify it at the time being. I would love for Siege Battles to get a rework. Andrew Gibson, welcome, by the way. Welcome, Lord Benedict. And yes, for me, I've been playing a little bit of campaign just on my own time here and there, and sieges are the worst. Man, sieges are just... It kind of kills the campaign for me oftentimes. Yeah, still waiting on a game here. Somehow. Yeah, I don't know about Alfredino and Yathar. I don't know what's going on with them. They had a game that was here, and that's... I think they might have started. I don't really know. Oh, okay. I see. We could go spectate one of the other tournament games that's going on, because I believe... Did the Salad Cup just start also? Right? I don't know. Looks like there's another tournament going right now. Yeah, exactly. In a lot of campaigns, you just only do sieges, and it ends up not being the best. Yeah, sieges are going to be reworked for Game 3. That's awesome. That's really, really good. Probably one of the best games they could make to the game, to be honest. Oh, it's HW's tournament. Oh, you're next Sunday. Okay. That's right. Just send ATI cards. Oh, man. Okay, so they are playing... Yep. Just waiting. Poison wind mortars. Oh man, yeah. That's the other thing too, is that you can kind of cheese the sieges in a lot of situations, either with like vortex spells, like area of effect damage spells. I don't know, like. I want sieges with more than, you know, 2 walls, or even like multi-level sieges. Like, it's just, they could do so much with it, you know. Do an exhibition. Yeah, I know as soon as we start an exhibition match that they will be ready to go, which is why I haven't done it. But I mean, at this point, I don't know. Crab and Tank have been doing this practice game for quite a while, so maybe just like PM them and tell them to back out or something. I mean, they're not actually playing a tournament game right now, and Battleborn's just waiting, so. Maybe I'll just go jump into a game at this point. I don't, honestly, I'm very surprised that their practice game, that they chose to do a practice game, number 1, and number 2, that it's taking this long. But anyway, you know, they can only be going for so much longer. Oh, they're playing an HW's tournament. Oh, okay, well, we'll just wait then, it's no big deal. Yeah, I mean, we could just say Battleborn versus Pugno for the final. Since Alfredino and Niathar are taking so long, too. Just kidding. That'd be rude. We should probably play the games. But, you know. When can you expect my video on crumbling? Well, soon. Soon. I know I've talked about it a lot, but some other stuff has come up, and I've gotta do some other things. But yes, soon. It will be soon, for sure. Okay, well, yeah. Okay, well. Let me see. Give me just a second. Alright, well, I guess I'll jump into a quick battle then. Guess you can tell them to wait. once they are done, since we had to wait for them. Okay, so let's go with Greenskins. And we'll kind of do some things here. What do I want to go with? Oh, nope, he left. Okay, that's good. Oh, nope. Okay, I guess no one wants to play me. We just jump in a random game here. Oh no, they actually have their game up. Finally, okay. Get some action. Yeah, of course, and that's what I'm saying. I knew as soon as I tried to jump into an exhibition game, like literally the second I jumped into an exhibition game, they would then be done and host the lobby. I knew that's what would happen, so I don't know honestly why I didn't try and jump into a game sooner, because apparently that would have actually, you know, made the tournament go faster. Because I guess that's what they were waiting for, is for me to actually jump into... I'm sorry, I'm being a little facetious at this point. But, yeah, I actually legit am going to be right back. Just go stretch my legs a little bit. And, yeah, just a second. And I'm back, okay. Forgot to press A to advance the dialogue. That's pretty good, Frodo. That's pretty good. Yep. Bound to see a wah! That was not a very good wah. I apologize. I could do a decent one, but I don't want to frighten my neighbors. Alright. And it looks like they're just about ready to go, so we can get in here and get this finished quick. Looks like Alfredino and Pugno are probably doing their game right now, so we're moving towards the final. We are moving towards the final. Okay. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, absolute banger. Absolute banger. Excuse me. I'm fine. Don't worry about me. So yeah, as far as streaming goes, for the rest of the next little while, this is getting a little intense here. For the next little while in terms of streaming, don't think I'm going to stream anything tomorrow, but Monday we'll probably pick up some streaming action on Twitch. Maybe some Call of Duty Warzone, some other games, we'll see. So I'll kind of let you guys know. Oh yeah. We'll just let the we'll just let the track play out. Actually, here, let's do this. Okay, so we've got Azag the Slaughterer going to be leading the way up in the air. We've got a Gobbo Big Boss, Night Goblin Shaman, Rusty Errors. Front line's going to have some Savage Orc Biggins, 8-Peak Loons. We've also got Black Orcs, so a nice infantry force here. Also got the Durkits Squigs. As for the Skavens we've got some Clan Rats with shields here. Looks like Warplock Jazales. We've also got some Plague Monks, Rat Ogres, Bracier, Lore of Plague. Yeah, 2 Assassins. Pretty good stuff. Say 2 Assassins. Are these actually both Assassins? Yes, they are. Okay. The bell be tolling. Having a grand old time. Who's ready? Azag looking swell up in the air. Skull Muncha. Gotta love the belly buttons on wyverns, like mouth belly button. It is pretty great. Or is that just an armor piece that they put on there? That might just be an armor piece. Still, looks kind of silly. Azag, what are you even doing, dude? What are you even doing? That seems unsafe. Yeah, look at the angle that he's at, is all I'm saying. You know? Like, look at that. Look at that angle, man. Yeah, right? No bell toll. I don't know where the sound went. Maybe it has to be in melee to make the sound? I don't know. I thought there was a bell sound effect. Anyway. Here on Altdorf Outskirts, these two forces are going to be meeting, and we've got the Jazales already opening up on the Durkit Squigs over on the far side. Squigs don't have any kind of missile block chance, so they will take the full brunt of that damage. I don't... Jazales are not... Yeah, they do have Shield Breaker anyway. I was going to say, I don't think they're subject to missile block chance, but no, they are. They just have the Shield Breaker trait, so that's pretty good. Over here on this side, the Squigs coming in, getting some good damage initially on those Clan Rats, then fleeing away from the Rat Ogres as they kind of countercharge in here. Azag's going to have to be careful not to get picked off. These big bosses are also going to be a little bit of vulnerable targets, or the big boss, one big boss rather. The Night Goblin Shaman also, but Wah now being popped, as a lot of these units are making their way in. Great use of these Durkit Squigs with the Wah active to get in and do a ton of damage to those Plague Monks, that anti-infantry damage, that extra charge bonus. will certainly come in handy, though they are going to get picked off by the Jezzails. You can see just a nice engagement kind of all across the line here. The Orcs getting in there, Savage Orcs just absolutely pummeling the Black Orcs as well, just wrecking those Clan Rats here. These Rat Ogres get caught out of position and actually eaten by Squigs, which, you know, Squigs are anti-infantry armor piercing. Trolls are Rat Ogres, rather, are large, unarmored targets, so really not what you would expect, but certainly with the help of Azag with the terror there, and just the charge bonus and everything from the WoW, they're able to win out on that engagement, and somehow this music is not as fitting anymore, so we'll probably just do a bit of this, and just don't mind me. I know this is definitely, nope, not what you guys want to see in the middle of the battle, but here we go. It is what it is. We didn't miss much, just the Spirit Leech on these Natty Bubo Sharpshooters, the Goblin Big Boss pushing through, pressuring heavily. Yeah, the Skaven Infantry just getting absolutely mopped here as Azag does nice hit-and-run terror charges. That's one of the strengths of Azag and the Wyvern Lords in general, is that their speed and their hit-and-run ability against factions without flying means you can kind of dictate, drop in quick terror routes, and especially against Skaven who have low leadership and don't have any flying. They do have some air control tools, but oh man, This poor Bell, definitely in big trouble. The bell does not toll for him. Or maybe it will, if you know what I mean. But, yeah. The Black Orcs, the Plague Monks. Black Orcs are doing pretty well here. They're rushing in to try and help bail out Azag. Azag's a little bit caught up on those Rat Ogres, but they'll get quickly terrified away. The Savage Orc Biggins just dealing a ton of damage to them. The Daka line also just absolutely gadding the Grey Seer Lord Plague. He is done for. Dismantled by arrows, which is pretty impressive, actually. Now we get to see some Plague Monks fighting some Savage Orcs up close. Kind of the same color, to be honest. I feel like the Savage Orcs should be a bit greener. Maybe it's just the lighting, but... oof. Yeah, the dual-wield anti-infantry rats don't stand a chance against the dual-wield anti-large orcs. And that's going to be game. Yeah, Big Bosses, you know, if Big Bosses had an assassination debuff, because they're, on campaign map, they're an assassin, quote-unquote, type hero, right? Like, they function in a lot of similar ways to, like, the Skaven assassin or the Knight assassin. That's kind of the, I don't know, that's kind of the archetype that I see them fitting into in terms of hero types. So if they had some kind of assassination debuff, that would make them so much better. That being said, I do think it's, yeah, it's a bit of a shame we don't have an Orc melee hero. I would love to see an Orc melee hero as well. Big Bosses are okay. I'm a fan. They're pretty cheap, but... yeah, Crabling moves on there. And let's go ahead and look... Alfredino and Pugno. Cool. They are waiting. So we'll get in on them. Ultra hacks. All the hacks. Okay. Yeah, that was fast. Yeah, exactly. They're spies. Yeah, they need like a captain archetype, right? Yeah, great to keep trolls in line, exactly. Well, and it's just a cheap, you know, cheap single entity, and very often in single entity combat, like, numbers wins. Obviously, quality sometimes will not allow that to happen, but just as a general rule, quantity usually wins, right? Like, 2 versus 1 usually wins in single entity combat, so what the Big Boss gives you is a cheap, mobile, ground, you know, single entity hero that's not the best in combat, but he is another single entity, so... especially if you get somebody caught out by, like, let's say that you got him caught out by, like, a giant or a spider, and then you can come in with a Big Boss and maybe your Lord as well, and that provides you, you know, just that one additional cheap single entity, especially with the poison. Like, in certain circumstances, maybe you want to take double giant, but you don't want to take a spider for whatever reason. I don't know why. You can take a Big Boss for that cheap poison single entity, so I'm a fan. I think they're pretty good. But yeah, they're definitely not like melee powerhouse heroes on the level of, you know, mean, obviously, like, the High Elf Noble, but even, like, the Captain, the Empire Captain, or the, you know, the White King, or the Chaos, what is it, Aspiring, no, Exalted Hero. Yeah, exactly, yeah, they don't really go for the honorable 1v1 combat. Okay. Okay, okay. So, what is that? Beastmen versus... Yeah, Beastmen versus... Dark Elves? Exalted Zero? No, I think Exalted Heroes... I think Exalted Heroes are pretty good, actually. Since they changed the Manticore price, if you strip all their abilities and bring them on the Manticore, they're 1100. Which, it's like basically buying an upgrade over the Feral Manticore that makes them, number one, not enraged, which can be very important, and it does give them some stat upgrades as well. If you have the gold, you could buy the Mark of Cain. Gives them basically like Frenzy, more or less, on the Manticore. It's pretty good. Extra charge bonus especially is very good for them. But just in general, 1100, I mean, it is basically, like I said, it's like a 300-point upgrade over the Feral Manticore, and I think it's worth it. Likewise, Exalted Heroes with nothing on foot are 500 points. It's like 50 points cheaper than an Aspiring Champion, and I actually think it's better. They can just sit on top of your infantry unit and make it even more elite, and help support your infantry unit's leadership. Like, you stick them on top of the Mirror Guard, for example, like Sigvald plus an Exalted Hero on foot on top of the Mirror Guard, and you've got a really tanky little foot squad there. Yeah, exactly. That for the champion, for the training, for the yeah, for the training, for the like wall destruction, you know, that kind of stuff. I'm really hoping, I mean, it is officially May now. I'm really hoping that we see some kind of announcement in regards to Warhammer DLC or Troy or just something soon. Yeah, they said they did an AMA and some other things, and I think they updated the free LC array. Like, I want to say it's just around the corner. I just don't know when exactly it'll be. Yeah. They're telling us what they're doing, just not when it's coming out. And I get that, especially given the circumstances right now. Like, yeah, I I'm totally understanding of what they, you know, what they're doing, what their whole deal is. But I want content soon. I want some more content. Yeah, I would expect it sometime soon. Definitely would. Yeah, no, I get what you're saying though. it's like they don't want to, especially given the circumstances right now, they don't want to promise things. And I mean, already there are a lot of sections in the community that are salty for their own stupid reasons. Like a lot of people have this weird sense of entitlement that I don't really get, but well, besides my channel obviously, if you want, I can point you to the Noobhammer Discord. Let's see here. How do I, what am I even doing here? Okay, here we go. Nope, not that. Here we go. There's the Noobhammer Discord. Right. I want new content of 5 units. Yes. Yes, for me, it's more about wanting the Greenskins rework, especially in campaign. Like, Greenskins have always been one of my favorite factions, to be honest. They're kind of like, I don't know. They're like the Empire in a lot of ways, honestly, but very unlike the Empire, right? Like, they have a actually very well-balanced roster. In fact, I might say that they have the second best well-rounded roster in the game. That might sound crazy, but, you know, actually, artillery is their most limited component, certainly, but the Doom Divers are so good, man. Doom Divers are really good, and Rock Lobbers are very cost-effective as well, so, honestly, you could make an argument that maybe, like, High Elves or Dark Elves would be in that same space, but for me, just the variety of infantry and light cavalry, especially, the heavy cavalry is lacking a little bit, but you still have some options in terms of heavy cavalry. You've got good chariots. Boar chariots are actually pretty good now, and Goblin chariots are okay. They're kind of memey, but they're all right. I mean, excellent skirmish cav options, good foot skirmish options as well. I mean, they're somewhat limited, but you have good AP values regardless. I don't know. What do you think? Wood Elf campaign rework? Oh yeah, Aristo, man. Wood Elves and Beastmen, like, geez, both of them. Wood Elves, Beastmen, they need both some love. So that would be a great DLC to do the two of them. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you have the Ragnarok spiders as well. They're very, very good. But yeah, besides the giant and the spider, like, yeah, they don't really have a lot of tier 5 units. What would I change? The beast. I'll start with the Beastmen campaign. Well, nah, let's start with the Wood Elves. So first of all, with the Wood Elves, burn the Amber mechanic. Just, like, you can use the Amber resource and, like, the art assets for it and just use it for something else entirely, and kind of the roster dichotomy. If you want to play that out in another way where Durthu and Orion actually give buffs rather than penalties, I think that'd be a lot more interesting. And then, as far as other campaign mechanics, like, they got to overhaul the occupation system for the Wood Elves is the biggest thing. The only building outposts, and I get, like, the Wood Elves are not really supposed to be builders, so they definitely, I don't know, maybe what they could do actually for the Wood Elves is, you know how, like, Harkon and, like, all the vampire legendary lords, they have, like, their own stacks basically where they can recruit, like, you know, independently. Basically, I think it should be that way for the Wood Elves as well, where they have, like, kind of a hybrid. It's almost like a hybrid horde / settled style, where you still, because if you look at like Noctilus, you can kind of play in that one base. You can play expansionist Noctilus, but you also can play tall Noctilus and just do a one base and only build up your home base. So I think that kind of campaign style could work really well for the Wood Elves also, where your stacks are kind of operating independently, and you know, they have the ability to recruit and replenish, you know, in and of themselves, and have their own like building chains and everything built in. I think that would be super, super cool and thematic. Regen Lord. As far as Beastmen goes, yeah, I mean, reworking how the Bray Herd mechanic works would be nice. I'm not really sure, to be honest. I don't know. They could do a lot with the Beastmen campaign. You could somehow play into the 4, like, Chaos Gods. I don't know. I don't know what's the delay. I don't know what the delay is. Let's not take too long here. I think both of these guys are ready. So, I don't know. One of them's been ready for a while, at least. Yeah, these guys are taking a long time. I don't know what Pugnabon's doing right now, but Alfredino's ready. Come on, guys. You like have some situational awareness, please, please. I mean, I know I'm playing under a different name right now, but I don't know. I feel like they should have. Who else could it have been? You know. Okay, Pugno, let's go. Let's go. Come on, let's go. It's taking a really long time, like way too long. If Pugno was waiting on me to pick his army, like, come on, dude. You've had so long. I'm sorry, but I don't mean to be rude, but it's a little bit silly that you're not already ready. Ugh. My cat. Wait, these guys have fake names? No, only I have a fake name. I've had the same fake name for a while, which is why I feel like people should probably know. Okay, get the screen blocker out of here. Oh, okay. There we go. What? What? I have this on here twice? That's hilarious. Ah. Okay. Yep, we only need the one. I actually had 2 army blockers up somehow, and it was the same army blocker twice. Yeah, I could see the Wood Elf. Actually, you bring up a good one for the Skaven. Like, instead of an Undercity, they establish like a hidden blade in your town where they like steal income and or maybe, you know, harvest resources, whatever. Undercover. Yeah. Dwarfs days. Oh, yeah. Not that I'm, you know, typically impatient. I mean, actually I am kind of impatient sometimes, but want to get you guys some action. Yeah. Yeah, I think that they could do a mechanic like that. For Beastmen, honestly, the Beastmen and Chaos, the like Chaos Horde factions, I don't know. They kind of need to look at how those are done. Maybe reworking the Chaos Corruption mechanic somehow so that rather than spawning just Rebel stacks, like if your place has high enough Chaos Corruption, there's a chance to spawn like actual Chaos factions as well. Like both Beastmen and Warriors of Chaos. Oh, okay. It's all good, Sarmation. I had no idea they were waiting on me. I guess I probably should have checked the chat and checked in with them beforehand, but yeah. Yep. Yeah, this Battanian Orc has been my nickname for a while. Oh yeah, some kind of a fast travel system for the Beastmen, that would be super cool, actually, especially as a Horde faction, or as the Wood Elves. So like, what if like if you actually conquer a place and establish an outpost, like maybe you can only build outposts, but then you can also teleport through them, so you can get to them quickly to defend them, since they won't have, you know, like walls or garrisons or anything. They might have small garrisons, but that could be interesting potentially. I like that idea. Yeah, Chaos doesn't get along with Chaos. I don't know, just some way of unleashing the Bray Herds, but in a more impactful way. Like reworking the Bray Herd mechanic for one thing, and then the Beastmen also have the Eye of Morsleep. It's the moon mechanic, right? Anyway, I should probably talk about these builds. As for the Dark Elves, got a Supreme Sorceress, Lore of Fire, looks like a Scourge Runner, 3 Bolt Throwers, which are currently doing some great damage. Slaanesha's Harvesters, we've got Corsairs and Bleak Swords, Dread Spears in the front line. For the Tomb Kings, 3 Ushabti Great Bows, pretty good choice, 3 regular Ushabti, so quite heavy on the Monstrous Infantry and quite wide, I like that. No Terror units, which is a little bit weak, but plenty of Skeleton Archers and Skeleton Spearmen with Warriors up front. So interesting builds on both sides. I like the 3 Ushabti Great Bows, although I'm not sure what targets they're shooting at right now, if they're trying to take out the Bolt Throwers. Honestly, I'd probably just immediately start going after the Cold One Knights or the Slaanesha's Harvesters. The Cold One Knights, you can pick off models reliably and take them out pretty quickly. A nice little kind of pullback there. Skeleton Archers get some damage in. Not too much damage on the Cold One Knights because of their heavy armor, but the Ushabti were able to not take that charge in the face, which is pretty nice. But Slaanesha's Harvesters starting to make a push over on this side. This actually Ark in the Black. Yeah, Ark in the Black on his chariot going to come in. Even though it looks like it probably should do magic damage, it does not, in fact, do magic damage. But he does have Spirit Leech and some other abilities, just using his mass also to kind of try and stop this flank up. The Spearman also going to be deployed. Nice. Burning Head there roasts out one Skeleton Archer very, very well, and you can see the Ushabti are taking consistent damage from those Bolt Throwers. This is why, you know, I was saying the Ushabti really should be trying to generate their value shooting at these enemy heavy cavalry. The Cold One Knights are definitely going to be a much better priority target, but honestly, it's going to be a little bit rough here against the Bolt Throwers. Fireball going after Arkan, does a little bit of damage there. And a nice frontal charge by those Cold One Knights, doing great anti-large AP damage to the Ushabti. Gotten separated a little bit from their support units. And yeah, the Ushabti over here are going to run into spears. Maybe not the best, but if they could just pull over, occupy those Scourge Runner chariots, that would actually be very helpful. Help get those Ushabti Great Bows a little bit safer. At this point, this Bolt Thrower has been worked down to just one piece, so the Ushabti Great Bows probably want to start changing shots to a different target. Yeah, another Burning Head. Oh, this is going to be nasty. Ooh, beautiful burning head right down the line of the skeletons, just absolutely roasting them out. Oh man, that does devastating damage to that backline. I mean, granted, they are just skeleton archers, so not the biggest deal in the world, but the Scourge Runner Chariots now using their melee power to come in, start to deal a little bit of damage. The bolt throwers, the few that remain, I mean, again, they're cheaper than the new Ushabti Great Bows, so the Ushabti Great Bows trying to trade into the bolt throwers is really not super cost effective. Again, in this situation, the most expensive units you can shoot at are going to be those heavy cavalry units, and also you can generate value very quickly shooting them because of the style of the Ushabti Great Bow's shots. So a little bit of a misplay by the Tomb Kings, but they're definitely still in it. Balance power still pretty close. A lot of the elf infantry starting to kind of fall apart here. We do have, looks like, ooh, nice Ushabti summon. Didn't quite get a full surround on that Supreme Sorceress, but has been popped to where they can now collapse in on her. And yeah, the Tomb Kings still might be able to push this through, even with the Ushabti Great Bows not necessarily paying for themselves super well. Cold One Knight's able to get up and around the flank there, shut that one down. Likewise, this Scourge Runner Chariot is going to be able to kind of solidify this flank. And here, a beautiful collapse by the 2 units of Cold One Knights, finding that this Ushabti Great Bow is mostly without support here. I mean, there are some skeleton spears nearby, but they're really not in that great of a position to be able to help. But yeah, man, they just got absolutely melted there. And the Cold One Knights can now pull away. These Black Ark Corsairs with the chariots as well will be able to provide some good anti-infantry. So Dark Elves actually stabilizing this area of the battlefield quite well. Likewise, this Bolt Thrower is still online. This one's also still online, at least for the time being. These Dread Spears can come in and try and protect there. Some of the shops here just about gone, so it's definitely still very, very close. Anyone's game. Supreme Sorceress has got to be careful not to get stuck up for too long, but this like kind of cav force right here with the chariots being very healthy is going to be great. A nice Soul Stealer as well from the Slaanesh Harvesters there. Is that going to be enough to finish off Arcan? He's now getting surrounded by the Cold One Knight Slaanesh Harvesters, doing a great job there. The Scourge Runner's Chariots likewise will hopefully be shooting point blank at him. Those shots at this close range, yeah, you can see they are shooting their crossbows. Those will do a lot of damage at nice close range like this. They should be able to get consistent hits. And with Arcan being done, that is going to be game victory for the Dark Elves. Very nicely done by Alfredino here. I probably kept calling him Cetra. It is actually Arcan, but yeah. Yeah, he just got worked there. Absolutely worked. Final Fireball doesn't even get to make contact because critical army losses kicks in. And that cav play, beautiful cav play there with the Cold One Knights, definitely carrying the game to a large degree. The Scourge Runner Chariots as well and the Bolt Throwers. It's a really, really good Dark Elf build, honestly. In the past, it's been a long time since I've used it, but the kind of cav plus bolt thrower thing for the Dark Elves is something that not a lot of people expect, and it can be very good in certain matchups. I especially love the inclusion of the Scourge Runner Chariot as well for some nice anti-infantry and the, anti-large missiles. Burning heads as well, beautiful stuff there. 121 kills, 148 on some Corsairs. That is, wow, they just cut some skeletons, I guess. Yeah, but the Cold One Knights definitely a pretty good carry. Absolutely wrecked the Ushabti, both the melee and the bow Ushabti, so great stuff. Good game. All bony boys. All right, so let's jump to next one. And it looks like we are going to be on to the final. It'll be a best of 3 between Crabling and Alfredino. So we'll get in here. Check. Lobby gets hosted. Cold One Knights MVP. You don't see it super often, but you do see it. Cold One Knights are definitely a unit that if you use them in the right way, they can be really, really strong. They are kind of squishy. Oftentimes they get sacrificed in horrible, terrible, terrible ways, but they are very, very good in the right situation. It absolutely is the right situation. A nice frontal charge into some armored monstrous infantry that don't have the best stats in the world. Next one is the final, yes indeed. So if we have a look at the tail of the tape here, got Yeah, I guess I actually can't edit the scores because I'm not a part of this, but once the score gets input there, then Alfredino will be moving on to fight Crabling, and Tank will be fighting, yeah, Pugnabon. So, good stuff. Okay, okay. Right? Yeah. For Beastman DLC Lords, for sure, the Brass Bowl is one that they need to do. They really, really need to do. Sorry, just got to return a message real quick. Okay. Yeah, I could see them maybe giving the Wood Elves a free LC in addition to a DLC Lord, just because they only have 2 Legendary Lords, right? So to bring them up to 4, like, Beastmen already have 3, so they would only need the 1 more. So I definitely could see them doing 1 free LC Lord and 1 DLC Lord for the Wood Elves. Probably Ariel would be one of them. And then they could do Drycha or Drycha, but I don't know that they would want to do another caster, so probably it would be the Sisters of Twilight. Yeah, see, then that would make sense to have alongside Ariel to have the Sisters of Twilight. That would make a lot of sense. And it would give the Wood Elves, I'm assuming Alariel would be like sorry, Ariel. That's going to get confusing. I'm assuming Ariel would be, here we go. I should probably join the lobby. Ariel would be like a Greater Arcane Conduit caster. Also, how would you guys feel about giving the Fey Enchantress Greater Arcane Conduit? This might be my Bretonnia bias speaking, I fully admit that, but honestly, the Fey Enchantress is already pretty good, but Bretonnia as a faction's just not amazing. What if they gave her Greater Arcane Conduit? Or just Bound Nets, I don't know. They could give her something more, but like, she's good, don't get me wrong. The Mortis effect is definitely strong, but even still, you compare her to, like, I don't know, like Game 2, like top tier casters, like Teclis, Mazdamundi, Marathi, she really doesn't compare to any of them. Gelt too. I mean, Gelt's okay, but Gelt and the Fey Enchantress both could use a little bit of love as caster lords. Down nets. I don't know. This is, again, just my Bretonia bias, but in tabletop, she had, I want to say in one edition, or some of the earlier editions, I think she had a hybrid of light, or she could access Lore of Light, I want to say, or maybe some spells from it. I could be completely wrong about this. I want to say that I read somewhere that she could access Lore of Light at one point in time. Mortis Strain's okay. It's okay. The problem is that she's really squishy. She's not Ariel. She's not Alariel, right? She doesn't have like 60-something melee defense, like 70 melee defense on her horse, so she can't actually be killed. And that's usually how she loses. The Mortis effect, I mean, it's good, don't get me wrong. It's very strong, but the fact that she's so squishy and she has to be in melee to use it does somewhat nullify it. I mean, granted, she does have magic resistance, so depending on what she's fighting, she might not take that much damage. But I don't know. I mostly just want Bretonia to have access to Lore of Light also. Like, if we just had a Damsel and a Prophetess Lore of Light, that would be really good. Casting third place. Oh my goodness, okay. I'm really good at this. Where's the final? Did you send me an invitation? You want to send me an invitation? Apparently I'm too blind to be able to find the lobby on my own. Okay, here we go. Still waiting on Alfredino. So it's not like we were missing much. The problem is, there are certain things that you really can't protect her from. Like, for example, a Manticore charging and getting like a triple attack animation and almost one-shotting her. There's not really a lot you can do, even if you have a Grail Knight unit like standing on top of her. I mean, she's still going to take that charge damage. And then the Grail Knights will kill the Manticore probably, but, you know, you've still taken like 3/4 of your HP in about 10 seconds, less than 10 seconds, so... Yeah, that's the problem, is like, yes, protect her, but also it's very hard to protect her from certain specific things. Or like a Star Dragon, for example, just landing on her head. Yeah, Drycha I don't see, especially if they're going to be doing Ariel as a caster lord. I think they would want to do another non-caster lord. Give her some melee defense. A tiny bit more melee defense, honestly, would be okay. But, again, then this goes back to my probably having a bias to Bretonia, but Bretonia has literally the worst magic selection in the game, almost. I mean, they do have Lore of Life, which is nice. And they also have, Heavens is okay. Beast is pretty good. It's like Manticore summon lore, more or less. But, I mean, only having 3 common lores is really bad. Royal Hippos, you know, you say that, but you also... My goodness. Okay. Yes, I can see you, Sarmation. I'm reading your messages. I am definitely in the finals. If you look at the screen right here, you'll see at the top of the screen it says Crabling, right? So we are in the final. I'm here. We don't have both the competitors here. Yeah, Crabling versus Alfredino. I'm literally in that lobby right now. Crabling is right here. Alfredino is not. So, whenever Alfredino gets here, we can begin. Give nets and remove regrowth. Honestly, I might be okay with that. Or even not even nets. What if you just got rid of Dwellers Below and gave her banishment? Huh? Huh? See, Aristo, that's the problem, though. She's a balanced lord, and you look at the likes of Mazdamundi, Marathi. I mean, Marathi's pretty well balanced, but like Mazdamundi, Teclis is also pretty well balanced. But, I mean, there are certain lords in the game that are ridiculously overpowered. Like, kind of ridiculously overpowered. Not kind of. Actually, I should say very, very ridiculously overpowered. And I know, like, taking the one-off example of Mazdamundi is not great, but I don't know, like, it just compare her to the Game 3, a lot of the Game 3 caster lords, and the power creep becomes very, very apparent. The Mortis engine has carried her for a long time, but I just don't think it's enough anymore. I don't know. Maybe I am 100% biased, but right? I do think they should have Lore of Light. It definitely fits with their theming, and even if they didn't necessarily have it in tabletop, I mean, there's no reason why they couldn't. I don't know, man. A monster caster lord with self-heals and, like, almost 10,000 effective HP between the heals and the damage resistance that he has also. Also has 2 AoE Bunker Buster spells, like, also cost twice as much as the Fae. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's fair. But, you know, has like 70 charge bonus, like almost 500 weapon strength. Yes. Yeah, and the power creep on their lords is one of the big apparent parts of that, I think. Honestly, like, if you did give them Lore of Light, just as a... If you gave the faction as a whole Lore of Light, right? So you got a Damsel Prophetess Lore of Light, and then you give the Fanchantress... You could even swap out some of the Lore of Life spells that don't get used very much. Like, you could swap out... what is it? The armor one. I don't even use it. That's why I can't remember what it's called. Flesh to Stone, that's it. You could probably swap out Flesh to Stone and Dwellers Below for 2 different spells. Maybe you do, like, Nets. Nets would be ideal, but you even could do, like, Faw's Protection, maybe. Verona's Time Warp would be amazing, or Banishment. Hey, Bretonia doesn't have any nets right now. I'm just saying, Bretonia has 0 hard snare abilities, and they can't even slow stack, really. I mean, besides, like, Pox, arrows, and that's it, right? I think that's literally their only slow, so it would just be nice for Bretonia to get some kind of control ability, because they really lack that almost completely. So, I mean, a lot of factions have snares now. Even just giving a Tormentor Sword to, like, the Lord or something would be really good. Banishment and Shems. Shems actually might not be bad. Shems, it would give the Fanchantress... The flaming magic damage is okay, first of all, and second, that Shems, it'll give her, like, a ranged attack, you know? As a caster, it's nice to have a ranged attack with the magic missiles, so actually, yeah, Shems would be okay. I'd be okay with that. Yes, keep in mind, though, she's got, what, like 3,000 HP? Maybe less? Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to think about it. Well, keep in mind also that Nets is not that cost-effective of a spell in terms of Winds of Magic. Like, you definitely have to be smart about using it, and if you're using magic for Nets, then you're not using magic for healing, right? And so, especially without Greater Arcane Conduit, you kind of run into some problems. But, yeah, honestly, I think if you were to swap Dwellers Below for Banishment, swap, maybe swap Awakening of the Wood, although those are both kind of control abilities. I say no speed debuffing, but I guess both of those have speed debuff components. Yeah, maybe you should swap that for Gem's Burning Gaze. I don't know. Oh, it's effective. It's just expensive, right? Here's the thing. What I'm trying to say, yeah, if you burn it, it's your fault. Right, exactly, Aristo, exactly. So, being that as it is, if you, people make mistakes all the time, right? Even in the most top-level games, even in the ECL final, people are making mistakes constantly, right? So, if you take that into consideration, you say, okay, I'm a lot more likely to make a mistake with this spell and have it be bad than, say, you know, a healing spell, which is a lot more reliably useful. Like, it's a lot easier to understand when and where to use that, right? So I consider it kind of like a micro tax, not necessarily micro per se, but it is like a decision-making tax almost, if that makes sense. Like, you have to decide. Oh, nope, lobby's bugged. Okay. Guess we gotta rehost. I don't know. I see Fey builds, but also maybe it's just because I am really bad at this game, but you know, I just have a hard time. Like in the matchups where Bretonnia doesn't have a hard time already, the Fey Enchantress is good. But in the matchups where Bretonnia, it's very close. I'm not gonna say unwinnable, but it's close to unwinnable. Like, you definitely have to outplay your opponent hard and bring the right build. Like, in those matchups, the Fey Enchantress is, I mean, not great, right? she's not gonna beat any Lizardman monsters. I mean, she can maybe mortar strain some Lizardman infantry, but she's just gonna get absolutely destroyed by Lizardman monsters. Like Tomb Kings as well. I guess the magic damage helps from not getting shot by a Bone Giant, but still, like, I don't know, the really hard matchups, I don't see her being that great in. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but... Right, exactly, Aristo. So that's my point. So, like, if you, I do this at least, I try and make my builds in such a way, or at least consider, like, how much is it going to take to micro this? Like, am I gonna, do I have the opportunity to screw up this decision-making process, basically, right? Like, can I have the opportunity to mess up worse, or is this going to be easier for me to accomplish by doing it this way? If that makes sense, right? Like, I don't know. I hope that makes sense. Lewin, yeah, Lewin I would say is actually the most common pick in any matchup. Lewin's just good in most situations. The Fey Enchantress, I guess, is not totally uncommon, but I definitely see Lewin a lot more than I see the Fey. No, my point is that, like, nets, it's still about nets being, like, not mana efficient in comparison to healing spells, right? Again, because the opportunity to make a mistake is greater, so you can end up screwing yourself up. And that's what I'm kind of saying about my own army builds. Like, when I build armies, I consider, like, what is the opportunity I have to screw this up? And, like, should I take this spell over this spell? Or, like, should I try this synergy versus that? Like, what do I want to try and do? So I try and take into account. And so in that situation, like, like, even with factions that have access to nets, like even Mazda Mundi, very often I will not bring the nets because I'm like, okay, I can just spam Apotheosis and Harmonic Convergence on myself and not screw up with my nets, and I'm not going to waste all my Winds of Magic, right? And that is a conscious decision I'll make sometimes. Sometimes I'll say, no, I really need the net for a specific use here, like, say, for a specific flying, target that I'm trying to catch while he's on the ground or whatever. But, like, even, again, with Empire, there are other factions, like, it's a conscious decision sometimes to say, okay, I could bring nets, but I could also screw up with it, so I'm going to not bring nets so that I don't waste my Winds of Magic. That makes sense. I don't know. I guess I'm not explaining it very well. But, like, part of my decision-making process when I'm building an army, right, is to say, like, okay, with the units that I'm bringing, with the abilities that I'm bringing, like, how much is it going to take for me to micro them? Like, obviously, what do I want to do with them first? But I do consciously think about, like, okay, what is it going to take to micro all of this stuff? Like, where do I have opportunities to make mistakes? And then try and minimize those opportunities to make mistakes, right? And you can do that a number of different ways, but one of those ways is to not bring abilities that are super high risk, high reward, because those abilities, if you screw up, it's that high risk, right? And granted, that can be very rewarding, and sometimes your build relies on those high risk, high reward type abilities, but no, mostly I just think that Bretonnia needs Lore of Light. Number one, for the thematics. Number two, like, if let's forget about Fae having nets, because apparently you're very hung up on that. So just forget about that. Forget I even said anything about that. And I should probably go cast the game here. They're waiting on me. But, I'm just used to waiting at this point. I don't know, Aristo. You feel free to send me other replays that suggest otherwise, but based on my own experience and lots and lots and lots and lots of games I've watched and casted, I don't know about that. I mean, armored monsters that are not parked on halberds like steam tanks and Volkmar are also hard for them to kill. Like armored chariot monsters too, especially. But yeah, I mean, you don't even have to have elite halberds. That's not true. Speaking as an Empire player, I can tell you that is inherently not true. Even look at Tomb Kings too, like Bone Giants are very, very scary. I mean, Tomb Guard are the kind of mid-tier halberds, I guess. They're maybe not fully elite halberds, but yeah. No, I don't know. I don't know if you've watched any of the games I've played in the last, like, 4 or 5 months, Aristo, but that it actually does not involve Demigryph Knights with halberds at all. In fact, Demigryph Knights with halberds are a trap unit against Bretonnia. 100% most of the time. Now, the steam tank, I mean, if you want to call standing next to, I guess technically if you have Gotrek standing next to the steam tank, does that count as an elite halberd? Nah, straight up, Aristo, straight up. No, I challenge you. This is a challenge, Aristo, and this is actually just a ploy for me to get more views from you, so yeah, just understand that. Go back and watch all of my Empire games that I've posted since January, I'm going to say. I haven't taken Demigryph Knights with halberds one time. No, seriously. Seriously, I don't think I've taken Demigryph Knights with halberds probably since maybe even before January. You can feel free to correct me if I'm wrong and post a link in the chat so that everyone else can also go watch that video and I can get more views, right? So, yeah. I really, like, the Lance ones, because they have shields and better melee defense, they're way more cost-effective almost every time. Dorn. There we go. Best of 27 vampire counts mirror. Aristo, on the list of things I would rather do than that include setting fire to my own head, jumping inside of a wood chipper, grabbing hold of a lathe while it's in motion, replacing my shoes with cheese graters, smelling a homeless man's leftovers, let's say. Though all of those things are things that I would rather do than a best of 27 vampire counts mirror. That sounds like the worst. Woo! Release the cat. Yep. I think these guys are just about ready. They're getting their picks locked in. Looks like we're gonna have Greenskins versus Dark Elves for the first go. Only a fun matchup. Yeah, I had some technical issues with the lobby. Was not like bugged out, and anyway, yeah. Sorry about the delay, but it's fun to hang out with you guys, do some theory crafting. Hey, Crypt Ghoul's great again. The Dark Elves are pretty good. A lot of high-level players really like Dark Elves. They're a competitive faction. The nice thing about Dark Elves is they don't have a lot of bad matchups, so that, like, the factions that don't have a lot of bad matchups are the ones that you see pretty often in multiplayer that don't necessarily have direct counters. Really, the Dark Elves only struggle, in my experience, with like their really hard matchup is Vampire Coast for some reason. It's actually a lot of reasons, but yeah, other than Coast, like, if you can manage to avoid playing Coast, then Dark Elves are gonna have an even or decent, even to good matchup pretty much every time, so yep. Crypt Ghouls. Crypt Ghouls are actually, Crypt Ghouls, what they're good for is mass blocking, and I actually have seen them use, especially mass blocking, like flying units when they try and come down to the ground, or like if you have a Mortis engine, for example, you can set up a trap where like a Carnosaur or some other monster will try and dive the Mortis engine, and then you collapse with your Crypt Horrors, and they're almost like Chaos Spawn, right? They can like pin them in place. So, okay. Damnation, you gotta ready up. We're waiting on you. Since you hosted as a spectator, you gotta ready up. Not so much. Yeah, actually, out of all of the elf factions, Dark Elves have the best tools for dealing with heavy cavalry, especially since they got Scourge Runners. Yeah. Yeah, Dark Elves versus Wood Elves, yeah, that one can be a little bit awkward for the Dark Elves because you can't really compete in the ranged game at all with the Wood Elves. Scourge Runners are okay in that matchup as well, but anyway, let's have a look at what we've got here. Let me pop the screen blocker, and we'll get this music out of here. And there we are. Alright, so for the Dark Elves, for Crabling here, he's going to have Malekith leading the way, Ravagers of Rakarth, and another Scourge Runner. Got Corsair Handbows. He's got Dread Spears, Cold One Knights. Looks like, yeah. Heath, Repeater Crossbows. Interesting. Very interesting build. Nice and kind of scattered about here. Okay. As for the Greenskins, we've got Azag the Slaughterer, Nasty Skulkers, Warlords, Boys, Night Goblins, plenty of Spider Riders, Wolf Rider Archers, some Black Orcs up front, Rusty Airs, and Error Boys. One Doom Diver, very solid in this matchup. You can almost always expect a powerful Flying Lord here, whether it be Malekith, Marathi, you know, whoever. And the Doom Diver is going to be a great tool to pressure that. So let's see. It's a very narrow build. Yeah, very, very narrow build. I'm not sure how that's going to do against an actual horde of Greenskins. We'll see. Greenskins do have plenty of tools here, but also their tools are pretty light, so the Doom Diver will be the key, I think, to success here. If he can keep the Doom Diver alive and just keep the pressure on Malekith continuously, it will be very, very strong. You know, there's an argument to be made that maybe the Doom Diver should be shooting at one of the cavalry units, but honestly, I think just pressure Malekith constantly with that Doom Diver, because it will keep up consistent pressure through the entire battle. Azag can also fly around, Spirit Leech, and harass, and then the rest of the forces are there to just break up the advance of, you know, kind of the Dark Elves, do as much attrition damage as they can before they get back and get at this Doom Diver. We'll see. Oh, yeah. Doom Divers are a good time. They're probably one of my favorite units on the Greenskins roster. Now that they have good armor-piercing damage, I mean, I say good, it's actually not amazing. It does a little bit of explosive damage as well, but the accuracy is really the main thing, right? And especially accuracy is shooting at flying units. Sorry, just responding to a text real quick. I saw we had a rule break. So there's a rule about the number of melee infantry here, like the spend. You have to spend a certain amount on melee infantry, and I want to say that Crabling's build did not have enough. Hold on. Is it like greased up? That's hilarious. Like a little slip and slide. I don't know if I've ever noticed that before. We're okay? Okay. It's cool. Play on, they say. Oh, look. Going for a ride. Oh, yeah, it is like a slip and slide. That's hilarious. Oh, yeah, no, we're good. Okay. Okay. Alright, and we are off. The Scourge Runner's coming up, doing some skirmish damage off the bat. The Doom Diver looks like it's going after the Skirmish Cavalry, potentially. That's actually okay. They can do some damage to the Dark Riders there, but again, I'd probably be focusing primarily on Malekith. Nice little chill win there. Might be able to catch up some of these Wolf Rider archers and other units, but he does have to be a little bit careful here. Malekith, yeah, I mean, Azag could try and side dive him. That's really risky, though, with the Slaanesha's Harvesters so close. And also the Scourge Runners are doing some effective damage. But, yeah, that Doom Diver needs to be focused on Malekith first and foremost. I mean, the Skirmish Cavalry are a danger, but Malekith is like 3,000 points flying around, so you just need to be shooting him always, pretty much. But as it is right now, the Skirmish Cav doing some pretty good damage. Oh, looks like the Doom Diver's like VTOL in. Nice, getting some good damage. A little bit of damage, just that's all you need. A little bit of chip damage over the course of the battle. Continuously breaking up the advance. Looks like you got a Fate of Boring on those Slaanesha's Harvesters. Absolutely going to suck all of the fun out of them until they just fall over. And after having already taken some HP damage, that actually probably will do a lot to that unit. We'll see. Could potentially, yeah, it looks like it is picking off models pretty efficiently there, so... Doom Divers continuing to keep up the pressure on Malekith here. A lot of the Greenskins forces kind of pushing forward a little bit, but he does need to be careful not to get too caught out and, you know, kind of taken out of position. That is definitely what Crabling is looking to do here, is kind of draw him out of his defensive position here with all of these range tools, but it can seem a little counterintuitive, but to just sit and take it honestly might be the best thing. Just to try and countershoot a little bit here. If he could move up his Orc Airboys, and you see how these Orc Airboys and these... Night Goblin Archers are not firing, but now Malekith comes into range. This is potentially very, very risky here. But the Orc Airboys, I mean, they... What do they have? 140 range. They can outrange these Repeater Crossbows. I guess not 150. Interesting. Oh, no, that's the Scourge Runner Chariot. Duh. Yeah, they can outrange the Repeater Crossbows and almost even outrange the Scourge Runner Chariots, but nice breath attack there coming in. It actually, because of the stagger effect, didn't get all of the missiles off, which is pretty nice. Didn't do the full effect that it could have, but as it is right now, a lot of the shots for these Dark Elf units just kind of being thrown at Chaff, which is not amazing, but also 2 Soul Stealers just on a unit of Black Orcs here. I don't know, man. This kind of... I don't know if this Kite, if he's going to have enough left in the tank when all of the ammo's gone. And not to mention, Malekith is just getting continuously pressured by this Doom Diver as it continues to use ammo here. That's going to be very, very cost-effective. And Azag really hasn't taken much damage at all from the Scourge Runners or from any of these other high-value units. So Greenskin's in a decent position for the time being. I don't know. Yeah, as long as Alfredino can stay tight and kind of stick to his guns, so to speak, stick to his divers, should be able to kind of pull out the win here. But his counter skirmish is pretty decent. Orc Airboys, again, they can be used against various units here. These Scourge Runner Chariots trying to come in. They do get a nice hit and run charge there. Some clean damage on the 8-peak loons. Able to pull away. Looks like the spiders don't quite catch them. One of the models, ooh, did they get in contact there? Nope, just barely pulling away, unfortunately. And now the Cold One Knight's coming in to respond as well. So, yeah, just kind of a little bit of a shootout, which is not necessarily what I expected from this matchup, but, I mean, it's also not too bad. Ooh, this is nice. These big uns coming in, and the Spider Riders now can get a counterattack, and with the slow effect, actually do some damage to those Cold One Knights. You can see also the Scourge Runner Chariots are coming around. Malekith might try and come out to this flank to try and actually support that melee engagement, but as it is right now, yeah, it looks like the Cold One Knights were able to actually pull away there. They did take some free damage, unfortunately, for that, but the Black Orcs taking fire in the front line is definitely not good. He needs to pull them back. Probably just throw the Biggins and the other infantry forward. But yeah, those Black Orcs taking a bit of damage right now. Another Spirit Leech on Malekith from Azag as the Doom Divers continue to pressure him constantly. And the Dark Elves are starting to run low on ammo, and this is what I was talking about. This Kite build, I mean, against a well-balanced Greenskins build like this, you just don't... Oh no, this might throw it back though. Azag, what are you doing, buddy? What are you doing? Oh, that was such a risky dive. He goes in after the Chariots, and the Chariots' mass might actually be able to block him in. No, are they actually going to pull away? He actually probably should just go full melee mode with the Chariots, but it looks like Malekith swooping in. He's got a Soul Stealer ready to go, queuing it up, and just one charge on Azag could absolutely bring this game back. Azag trying to screen out through his Black Orcs here, but I don't think he's going to be able to get away. Malekith does land the charge there. Will he actually get the attack? It does look like the attack landed. Azag takes a ton of damage right there, and will that be the end? But Malekith beautifully screened out by the Forest Goblin Spider Riders there, and you can see the Daka line now coming in. Orc Air Boys and the Rusty Airs just pouring in all their shots. The Doom Diver as well. Now that Malekith is kind of stationary on the ground, will be able to make a lot more consistent contact. And you can see the Greenskins kind of swarming in, trying their best to finish off Malekith. He is getting very, very low. Granted, these Spider Riders might get terrified away. Yep, looks like they do get terrified away. But will Malekith be able to actually survive this? The Doom Divers at this point can probably continuously pressure him off the field. He really doesn't have a whole lot of healing left. We've already seen, what, 1 to 2 Soul Stealers? I don't know. One of them might have been from the Slaanesha's Harvesters. He might still have 1 to 2 more in his pocket. But nice save there. Man, that was a risky dive initially. Very bad decision by Alfredino, but he was able to kind of pull it back and, you know, not completely lose out here. Smoke bombs potentially from these nasty Skulkers. Would love to see that on these Scourge Runner Chariots. Does look like he grabs them there. And then you can see he follows up immediately with the Poison of the Spider Riders. And, oh man, nice breath attack going to come in. But actually does a ton of friendly damage to those Chariots, man. That was, Malekith, what are you doing, guy? What are you doing? And the Greenskins' defensive position is holding so far. The balance of power still not completely out of it, although definitely in the favor of the boys. The Doom Diver still, look at that, 2 ranks just only from shooting Malekith, basically. But it really, again, the Doom Diver really needs to be focused on Malekith. If it was, it could probably finish him off. But even just a quick jump from Azag, a rear charge here and a Spirit Leech could be enough to finish off Malekith. But he needs to get the Witch King off the field. Get him off the field. All of these Dark Elf units will start to have more leadership issues. I mean, they do have very strong leadership initially, but you can see this is kind of a mistake. The Doom Diver's focusing on not Malekith, basically. It absolutely needs to finish off Malekith. You know, he might be relying on the Spirit Leech and some other tools to try and finish off Malekith's leadership, but the Doom Diver would absolutely guarantee him to be going down in a certain space of time. As it is right now, the Dark Elves are getting ready to make another push, and they're just about out of ammo at this point. Yeah, so not looking too great. Word of Pain on those Orc Biggins does debuff their melee attack pretty significantly, but again, that Doom Diver, it's almost out of ammo, really needs to focus its last shots on Malekith to try and finish him off. And you can see Malekith's just straight up understanding this, just trying to get out of range of the Doom Diver, and it really doesn't have much of a chance left to try and finish him off, but it looks like Alfredino, a mistake with targeting here could end up costing him the game, honestly. If he gets separated out like this, there's still a lot of pretty powerful mobile forces here, and he could definitely get pulled out of position and taken down. So, yeah, that Doom Diver got to finish off Malekith. I guess there are still plenty of Orc Air Boys, and the Orc Air Boys are not complete pushovers in melee. So maybe it's a little bit too far out of reach for the Dark Elves, but yeah, man, now that Doom Diver, it just hurts me a little bit inside to not see it just finish Malekith. Yeah, the Spirit Leech isn't enough, though. The Spirit Leech is not enough. It's not consistent enough. He's got 59 HP out there. Just one Doom Diver even. One Doom Diver hitting him would have made the difference, and he'd be dead right now. But instead, the Dark Elves are still fighting. No, they're still fighting hard, still making a push here, and doing their best to try and get in this backline and start to shut it down. We've got Dread Spears coming through. Granted, without any support, Azag can come down and pretty aggressively land and terrify units, but he does have to be careful not to get shot up too much by these Black Ark Corsairs here. And the Doom Diver is just about out of ammo. Malekith is just barely hanging out, like, outside of the range there. But yeah, I mean, I honestly just might win through attrition here, just because the Dark Elves don't have enough left in the tank. Oh man, that's a bad luck by Azag. He goes straight into the Cold One Knights, which are enraged, and then are going to do a bunch of damage to him. That was a very unfortunate dive. Thankfully, the Terror kicks in, and he is going to be able to pull away there. And I think this is probably going to still go to army losses here. Yeah, it doesn't look like the Dark Elves are going to be able to get back. And I mean, again, these Orc Air Boys are not complete pushovers in melee. They will deal some damage to these Dread Spears. With, yeah, only 23 attack, but still 34 weapon strength. When they do make hits, they'll be able to make pretty strong hits there compared to the low HP of the Dark Elves. Malekith, still alive. The Doom Diver, I don't know, what does it have, like one more volley left? Please, please just finish off Malekith with that thing. There we go. And they're in the air. Here it comes. Is this it? Da 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 da. Oh, and he's down. Just like that. The last Doom Diver shot saved for the moment. Beautiful Gobbo Air Force victory there. Azag proud to be the Air Corps commander of Troll Country. That's where he's from, right? Troll Country. I don't even know. But definitely with the death of Malekith there, leadership issues is going to become a lot more real. Looks like we also have, what is that, Spirit Leech, Fate of Boring, something there on those Dread Spears, just to do a little bit of extra damage to them, those Helibroni. And yeah, the nasty Skulker is almost completely healthy coming in the late game. Touchdown, right? Yeah, he might have been able to push him off with the Spirit Leech, but after he routed him with the Spirit Leech, but honestly, just the one Doom Diver shot's all you needed. And last unit of Dread Spears coming in to meet their fate. And it looks like that's it. Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, that Doom Diver right there at the end was able to finish off Malekith. And, I mean, I see what Crabling's going for here against a more headstrong rush. Oriented Greenskins build, this definitely would have worked a lot better. But against this nice kind of balanced build, got, you know, tools in every phase, pretty much. And especially the Doom Diver is just such a powerful tool in this matchup. GG, yeah, the boys are getting it. Boys are getting it. Forgot about Wah. Amazon Prime. Well, I actually think some of the shows that they have on the Amazon, like, what is it, video, whatever service, they actually have some pretty good shows. Like the Grand Tour is really good. Really enjoy that one. So honestly, for that, it's only like $100 a year. That's like less than $10 a month. For that streaming service, that in and of itself is already like more cost effective than, let's say, like Netflix. Not to mention you get all the discounts from Amazon. So totally, no, not sponsored or anything, but yeah, free music. Which, speaking of which, I should probably get on that. Yeah, I don't know if I would rate it as highly as Netflix. For me, it's just about the specific shows that are on there. Like, I'm a big fan of Top Gear and the Grand Tour. And they have some other documentaries on there that are pretty decent. Some of their shows are not great, I'm going to be honest, but yeah, Expanse is good. Let's see, throw up a screen blocker. Okay. Alright, so it looks like we're going to have Empire versus Skaven. Should be a good matchup on MP Blue Reach River. Definitely an interesting map and an interesting matchup, and I know this is probably one of Crabling's strongest matchups. So, we'll see how he does here. Oh man. Kind of messed up my knee the other day. It's totally fine though, no worries. Alright. So, yeah, we'll see. Looks like intermission needs to ready up one more time, and we're good to go. This could be it if Alfredino manages to take home the game here. This will be a victory for him, or Crabling can potentially pull it back to a 3-game series. On Horizon, I have not. I'll probably check Heir of Carthage's channel, though. I want to say he does a lot of hardware review stuff. So, yeah, I would maybe check with Heir of Carthage. Alright. Here we go. And the screen blocker, okay. Getting a little distracted. Let's have a look at what we've got here. Looks like Gracier, Lore of Plague. We've got some Plague Monks, Rat Ogres, Wheels of Doom, plenty of Chaff, Skaven Slave Spears, Clan Rats. Also got Rat Ogres. Yeah, pretty basic. I like this Wheels of Doom pick quite a bit. The ROR Doom Wheel can be very good in this matchup. If Empire doesn't bring appropriate anti-large armor piercing tools, then they won't really have the, what they need to take that down. Let's have a look. We do have some grenade launchers, Flagellants, Sigmar's Sons, the Sunmaker, plus the Hammer of Witches. So not just one, but 2 Regiment of Renown artillery pieces. That's just amazing. 1 anti-large, 1 anti-infantry. Leading the way is going to be Marcus Wolfheart, so there's some more anti-large AP. We've also got a Bright Wizard up in the air for popping Scroll with fireballs, or just, burning heads, or all that jazz. So, interesting. I like this Empire build. Definitely an interesting one. I don't know that I would take the Pegasus here, but, yeah, 3 Empire Knights. The Sunmaker, man, that's a wild one. Oh yeah, the Algabo Vanguard's a strong pick in a lot of situations, especially if you catch your opponent off guard. Oh man, these things are so cool. All right. Let's see that rocket's red glare. Those bombs bursting in air. The Plague Monks will be good targets, obviously. But, here we go. Come on. Come on, Sunmaker. Here comes the sun. No? Why isn't it firing yet? Oh, there we go. I want to see some rockets. Come on, let's see some rockets. And that thing is taking its sweet time. There we go. Ferments bombing. Oof. Absolute brutality. I mean, I say that. It's actually not doing all that much damage, and these Outriders are getting a little bit crazy here coming forward and taking some damage. Likewise, I guess probably an Overcast Fireball must have done a little bit of damage to those, that Wizard. But, oh, there we go. Some solid contact with those rockets. A few good hits on the Plague Monks there. Likewise, the Empire Knights do get a surround on this Doom Wheel, but these Empire Knights are not going to win this engagement. At best, they can hope to just hold this Doom Wheel in place for a while. But looks like Warp Lightning going to be used. Oh, the dreaded 13th spell. That explosion just did a bunch of damage to those Empire Knights and also summons a unit of Storm Vermin, so not looking great for the Empire in that situation so far. These Empire Knights as well getting pretty pulled out of position here. Yeah, it's gonna be tough. Those Empire Knights need to try and keep themselves protected as much as possible, but the Rat Ogres, there's not really a lot to stop the mass of the Rat Ogres from just centering up. If I was in Crabling's position here, I would just get all my Rat Ogres in the center and just punch straight through and get back on these artillery pieces. I mean, the Empire Knights can try and countercharge with their mass, but you have more mass than they do. And especially like if you combine the Bell and maybe bring the Doom Wheel in, make one big concerted push, you could break through and get to those artillery pieces. As it is, the Sunmaker definitely is not paid for itself, but a lot of the Skaven forces have taken some pretty significant damage. Just nothing on any super high value targets, which is obviously important. But Flagellants, Sigmar Sun's going to get involved now. The Flagellants getting some timely support from these Empire Knights. These Empire Knights aren't going to get the best charge, kind of charging through the backs of their own ranks like that. But yeah, you can see, like I said, there's nothing really to stop these Rat Ogres from just kind of pursuing whatever targets they want. I guess the Empire Knights are the blockers, right? But they're really getting hammered pretty hard. The Rat Ogres also came in. Great charge on the Sigmar Suns there. And yeah, once the Skaven get this close, it's going to be tough. The Clan Volskin's Tail Slashers are probably the best target for the Sunmaker to try and shoot at right now, but these summons are going to start to be a problem as they get back here, get on some of these artillery pieces. Likewise, I'm not sure what Marcus is shooting at, probably focused on the Grey Seer, I would imagine. But yeah, Rat Ogre's coming in, taking some damage. Ooh, nice Burning Head, going to be also dropped right here. Just to roast out a whole bunch of Clan Rat Spears. That does a lot of damage to them right there. Those Swordsmen can follow up, and ooh, nice Gat from the Sunmaker just to finish things. Some nice point-blank friendly fire, nothing like that, but yeah, the Empire Knights are not doing particularly well, and that Burning Head overran and ended up doing a little bit of friendly fire, quite literally friendly fire. But that's fine. The grenade launchers are able to kind of come sweep up a few units, make sure they shatter. Rat Ogres are pushing forward, still relatively healthy, all 3 to 4 units. But nice little countercharge here by the Empire Knights, trying to screen out Marcus, get him loose here. But the Assassin's also coming for Marcus. Definitely wants that lunch money. Oh, and the Assassin's Trophy's also been popped. Can the Empire Knights keep that Assassin out of harm's way? I don't know. Does Marcus actually have the nets? He does, yeah. So if he has the nets, he can try and use that to bail himself out from that situation, try and use those Empire Knights as well. The expensive artillery pieces have been compromised, but they aren't completely shut down. The crews are still going to be able to get online and keep firing again, and beautiful job blobbing up with the Flagellants, using the rockets to then fire in, but another Plague Monk summon going to make sure those artillery pieces cannot continue to fire. Great job with the Grey Seer there, continuing to keep those summons active. Especially the Hammer of Witches. I mean, not so much the Sunmaker. It's used up almost all of its ammo already, and really hasn't paid for itself, which is one of the main problems with the Sunmaker. Is it's just so expensive. But Fireball, a little bit of a swing and a miss, and I have not really been paying attention to the Wheels of Doom, but yeah, it's here somewhere, probably. Not really sure. Maybe it got killed, but who knows? Definitely the balanced power looking in Skaven's favor at the moment. So yeah, I was gonna say the Wheels of Doom, it's got to still be there. Yeah, it's just way over there, out in the boondocks, so to speak. Maybe the Empire can try and get some isolation engagements here, but with the expensive artillery pieces being, you know, pushed off. Granted, Marcus does get himself extricated from this assassin. Gonna be able to try and shoot him a little bit. Probably wants to just keep running as long as possible. But maybe, I don't know, maybe he can try and take this assassin in melee. Oh, nice Skaven Brew on the assassin, giving him extra weapon damage, a little less armor, but that doesn't really matter. He doesn't have armor to begin with. Skaven Brew, though, definitely going to beef up his melee power and make him just absolutely womp on Marcus here. And with Marcus going down, that is definitely going to be the game for Crabling. So it looks like we're going to have a 1-1 series going to the game 3. It's what we'd like to see. Excellent stuff. Nice burning head there. Gonna finish off some Empire units, but also maybe some Skaven units as well. Hard to say. But yeah, I don't really see Empire, besides Marcus, there's not really a lot left. And with the Assassin coming back around, the Wheel of Doom coming through. Oh yeah, beautiful. I love the color of this thing, man. Probably one of my favorite looking regiments of renown. And it looks like that is the second game, so we're going to a game 3. Beautiful. Woo. Yeah, it's all an illusion. No Imperial army was deleted at all. That's right. Yeah, I agree, Tanks. I actually don't hate the pick of the Sunmaker here, but I definitely would have dropped the Hammer of Witches for more cavalry. Pistoliers, there was a distinct lack of Pistoliers. Likewise, I probably would have changed out some of those Flagellants for different infantry. I'm not the biggest fan of Flagellants. I think typically Golden Chevron Spears are actually better in most situations. Unless you're fighting undead, like unless you need the Unbreakable for some reason. Like Golden Chevron Spears are just better, actually. Yeah, base game Skaven army. That's right. Other than the Wheels of Doom, Regiment of Renown, but you could even trade that out for a regular Doom wheel and just bring, one more unit of chaff, and that really wouldn't change much, to be honest. That 4 Rat Ogres is really strong. It's a lot of mass, and you have to be careful with them. You can't get them all absolutely killed, but Rat Ogres, especially in a big critical mass like that, are very strong. Mortars are okay. I'm not the biggest fan of mortars because their fire rate's really bad. You have a hard time using up most of the ammo, typically. Unless someone's trying to have a shootout with you, in which case they're actually pretty good for counter-firing enemy archers and stuff, but yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of mortars either. I don't really like stationary artillery that much to begin with. Like, it takes a lot for me to be a fan of an artillery piece, but... Yeah, I also probably would have played up from the artillery a bit, because like once you establish that there's no Death Runners or anything in a vanguard behind, then you can, because the Skaven really don't have any fast attack units, you can play forward from your artillery a ways, and then it'll just take them a little longer to get back there once they do compromise your front line. Kind of create some spacing there. Yeah, sounds about right, Will. Here in beautiful Salt Lake City, it's been nice and warm the past couple days, like up in the 70s, 80s. Fahrenheit, what, like 30 Celsius? I don't know. Not really good with that conversion off the top of my head. Yeah, I guess I could have put the blocker back up, but, no big deal. War wagons are worse than any other unit in the game, probably. War wagon mortar? I do like the artillery, the mobile artillery pieces. The war wagon mortars actually can be okay, believe it or not. I think they should be a little cheaper, but... Oh yeah, Essence of Chaos. Yep, we're going to get straight to the action here. It's basically like Glacial Lake, but, not completely flat. And let's have a look at the Greenskins here. Crabling coming in. With the wild Azag pick, gonna show Skaven what's what. We've got Savage Orcs, Black Orcs, more Savage Orcs, the Biggins even. Big Boss, Night Goblin, Shaman. We've got Rusty Airs, Orc Air Boys. So nice, well-balanced Greenskins build. A couple of Squig Hops out to the flanks, of course, for their anti-infantry. Excellent in this matchup. Squig Hopper's just a good unit in general. MP Crossroads. As for the Skaven build, we've got Ikit Zap Zap to try and interrupt Wa, Warp Grinders, Natty Bubo Sharpshooters, although on this map it is going to be tough to make that work because it's just so small. We've got plenty of Skaven Slaves, Lord Skrulk, Doom Wheel, Rats, Clan Rats, Gutter Runners, and Rat Ogres, along with the Ixchis Triads over on this flank. Oh yeah, that's rough, man. ACs do use a lot of electricity, so that's not great, but if you can, if you can power them with renewable energy, in theory, they're not that bad. Yeah, I was gonna say, this Skaven build, it has a lot of ranged tools, and especially Ikit Zap Zap, like you can see, the max artillery range is like out here past the Greenskins deployment zone, so I do question spending that much on an expensive artillery piece like that. I definitely would have gone with a rush-oriented Skaven build. I mean, granted, rushing into Greenskins is typically a terrible idea, because they're the best rush faction in the game, probably. But, maybe technically vampire counts are better, but I just always forget about vampire counts because they are the worst. Yeah, it's going to be a good one. I expect a pretty quick game. Here. A lot just depends on whether Azag gets blasted out of the sky right away or not. There's no Howling Warp Gale to control him. There's no, Warlock Engineer with Howling Warp Gale, so it may not be great. New to tournaments? Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean this build would be really good against Greenskins on a bigger map. But because of the tight spacing here, this Zap Zap is gonna have a hard time. I mean, it's not terrible, it's just the Zap Zap and the Giselles, right, mostly for range tools. Other than that, he has primarily melee units, so I mean there are only two to try and protect. See if he can do it. He does have these Warp Grinders for a snare, so oh, and right off the bat, they're going to be opening up, and Azag's probably going to want to start dodging immediately because, yeah, the Giselles and Ikit Zap Zap also shooting in. Oh, I thought Ikit Zap Zap had a unique color. That kind of makes me sad. Anyway, the Zap Zap does have plenty of range to be able to continue to try and pressure Azag, but he is dodging very nicely. Looks like instead of the Giselles are going to focus on the poor little Gobbo Shaman. But Ikit Zap Zap still trying to hit Azag to interrupt the Wa. It honestly might be worth just popping Wa, pretty quickly here. And just rushing all in, like these Squig Hoppers. Looks like they're going to try and not get caught by those Rat Ogres, potentially. But there's the Wa, now gets popped. And the Doom Wheel came forward really aggressively here. Got caught out by the Goblin Big Boss and the Savage Orc Biggins. Just got a ton of damage done. Plague Monks being summoned up here. The Greenskins rush definitely pushing forward. Squig Hoppers getting in, getting a hit and run charge, and then the Black Orcs kind of replacing them in this engagement here. Beautifully done. Savage Orc Biggins, and there's the Fanatics cast. Ooh, a little bit misaimed, unfortunately. Doesn't quite get full contact on all of those Gutter Runners, but still does make some contact on some of these Clan Rats and other units. Nice friendly fire from the Doom Wheel there. And the Greenskins push is incoming, but they are starting to take quite a bit of attrition damage already, especially the AP Loons here. You can see the Savage Orcs. Savage Orc Biggins really not holding their leadership together very well, and the Night Goblin Shaman is struggling about his decision-making, but great use of the Grinders here to bog down the Durkit Squigs. Likewise, the Ixchis Triad's going to move in to protect. The Doom Wheel's also here, but this is nice. I mean, this Gobbo Big Boss might not win this engagement, especially with the Night Runners supporting here. Skrulk is actually not a pushover, so he can win this, but the Goblin Big Boss at the very least can get back in, maybe do some damage on Skrulk. Maybe wanted to try and wait until Azag could, support him in an engagement there. But it's not the biggest loss in the world. Skaven are doing good, though. Balance power slightly in the Skaven's favor at this point, as a lot of the Greenskins units are kind of starting to run out of steam. Granted, a lot of that could be wrapped up in their missile tools as well, but I'm surprised that Ikit Zap Zap has been able to use up quite a bit of its ammo already, and it's consistently working on Azag. He really doesn't have a great place to drop down and try and recharge his Wah, because once he's on the ground, he'll be a lot slower and a lot more easily picked off by these ranged tools. So the pressure needs to keep up, really needs to get these Squig Hoppers push up and around this flank, try and pressure all these kind of weakened Skaven units away, and just keep pushing forward with these Savage Orc Biggins, these other units, Durkit Squigs, Savage Orc Biggins. Raiding against Plague Monks right now, which is maybe not the best, but Skrolk was able to actually beat that Gobbo Big Boss, not the best, and likewise Azag just being continuously pressured away. So, I mean, I was talking about how tough it would be to protect these range tools, but actually, Alfredino is doing a great job keeping the Ikit Zap Zap secure here. And it looks like Night Goblin Squig Hoppers pulling through. They're trying to get on these Gutter Runners. I just don't know. We'll see. The Doom Wheel still being so healthy is a big problem, and Azag taking all of this damage, but likewise, the Plague Monks are pretty much done for. Savage Orc Biggins are finally starting to push up into this back line. There is the Quake active, the Seismic Snare. So yeah, these Savage Orc Biggins, unfortunately, getting kind of picked away at this point, but if Azag can stay alive here, the Greenskins definitely have a chance to try and push through. These Black Orcs mostly unchallenged at this point. The Savage Orc Biggins as well. There's not really a lot of great tools for dealing with them at this point. So the Savage Orc Biggins do need to try and push through. Get in on this artillery, get in on these ranged units. Skrolk himself is going to come in and try and fight the Savages, which is honestly a pretty good idea. He's got decent weapon strength, magic damage, and Discourage. You can try and break their Frenzy, potentially, so that's actually a really nice play there. Try and get some more summons as well. Here comes the Doom Wheel for a side charge, potentially get a Terror Route also. Azag's still alive. He's still got some forces rallying as well, some Squig Hoppers and such. But the Greenskins infantry, yeah, they're just continuously pushing forward. Skrolk's doing his best work, trying to keep that advance just slowed down as much as possible, right? That's the key here. Create that missile onion and just continuously throw layers and rats until the cows come home, right? So now Rod of Corruption being popped. He does get it within range of those Black Orcs, but might have been a little bit more efficiently used if he had waited. But these missiles are almost out of ammunition, so if Azag can keep dodging these shots, there's not too much longer that he'll have to keep that up, and he can start coming in and affecting the battle. The Ikit Zap Zap does make contact with him, though, continuously, adding to that recharge timer. It's definitely going to be unfortunate. Oof, nice hit. Balance power still very close, though. Keep in mind, too, if Azag gets too weak, he might not be able to beat Skrolk, which could definitely end up being a problem. But here, these Savage Orc Biggins going to charge in to the Rat Ogres. Here's the mass there. I don't know if the Savage Orc Biggins will actually trade okay in that charge, but it looks like they do a little bit of damage. And at the very least, those Orc Airboys will be able to maybe get a volley. Yeah, they do get a little bit of a volley there. It's hard to say. The boys, yeah, suddenly things took a little bit of a turn as Azag starts to take more damage in this advance here. These Black Orcs, it's getting continuously bogged down, just dragged through the mud. Very atrocious fight here. We'll see. The Greenskins are not completely out of it, but the Ikit Zap Zap still has a tiny bit of ammo left, trying to continue to use that. And these two Black Orcs holding out in the center here, they're kind of isolated right now. Thankfully, this Gobbo Big Boss is here supporting leadership, and somehow, point blank, these Rusty Arrows are coming in and shooting the Doom Wheel here without getting engaged on anything. Kind of surprising there, but yeah, you can see the Skaven are getting a giant kind of second wave here, looking very, very strong. Yeah, actually, I know Ludwig, he's a German player, I want to say. He's a big fan of Tretch. I've seen him pretty frequently. I think we saw him actually once earlier in the stream, and he was able to beat an Empire build, actually. So, yeah, there it is. Liber Bubonicus on Azag, and that is going to be the win. So, yeah, well played to Alfredino. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this tournament. It's definitely been a lot of fun. Yeah, I know there was going to be a third place match, Sarmation. Unfortunately, I have to run. Some IRL stuff popped up. I've got a jet, so I can't stick around to cast the third place battles, unfortunately. But if you want to have them send me the replays, I could definitely do just a multicast of the series. Maybe post it later this week. Yeah, as it is, I'm gonna have to have to bow out. So big thanks to Samation for inviting me to cast rather, and hosting. Been a lot of fun. We had some great battles today. Really fun stuff. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Yeah. Yeah, Skrolka definitely carried pretty hard there. The Ikit Zap Zap, I mean, like I said, it was going to be tough to protect, but the whole build was kind of focused around protecting them, right? So the lack of range ended up not being too much of an issue at the end of the day. It's done? Okay. Cool. Cool. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, congrats to Alfredino. Great job. Well played. And yeah, we'll stay tuned on this channel for more content coming. Yeah, there'll be something releasing tomorrow. I think I've got another multicast going up tomorrow, I want to say. And then, yeah, more content to follow later this week. I'll be making an announcement video, posting my streaming schedule, you know, Discord, all of that stuff very shortly. So, yeah, that's it for today. Thank you all very much for watching. Big thanks again to Sarmation, and we'll see you next time. Bye.